Hi guys. Okay, so I'm going to go through all the signs for what's happening to you with Saturn and Neptune in Aries. I decided to do it together because Saturn's, going to be with Neptune the entire time. And yeah, I don't think you can really separate them. Maybe more towards the end of this transit, but I think right now it's good to combine them because, it's going to be a big shift. This is a vibe shift for sure. I can't believe with all the shifts we gone through, this year, we still have so much more shifting to do. It's very exciting. The next 3 years is going to be massively about spiritual awakenings. Only as Saturn on Neptune, dissolving any of the old structures that aren't, coming with us into the new era. They say when a lot of planets go from, in Vedic astrology, Gandanta points, Gandanta, that's a fun word. When a lot of planets go from water to fire, it creates spirit. It creates a lot of new energy to just kind of flood Earth, basically, to kind of awaken us to this new era. And we kind of get this off, right off the bat with, Saturn that's going to be squaring Jupiter. I think that's going to be a massive flood of just new spiritual energy, coming in. It's steam, when we get fire and water transits, it creates steam because it is the highest element, the fire in contact with the lowest element, water, at this lower plane. And it's just, connecting the two. So it's going to dissolve a lot of those heavier, dense emotions that we've been holding on to. So it just raises up, just we're dispersed of it, and then it's letting in the new and the light and the fire that's going to be coming in from now until 2027. We're going to have Saturn so close to Neptune because we give Neptune a really wide orb because it dissolves everything. So I give it a 10-degree orb. It's going to be dissolving all the old structures that haven't really been serving humanity, or hopefully all of them, maybe not all of them, but hopefully. And I think, the structures that are, going to last are the ones that are actually of, service to us. And, technically Saturn is in detriment in, Aries. And, the foundations that we build now might not be super secure because Aries wants to move fast and wants to go and wants to get things done. And Saturn, wants us to be slow and steady and patient and build things to really last. And I think a little hack that can, work with this is focusing more so on the energy. If you're building things, out of love, out of, service to humanity, more so from the heart, and, versus being in such a rush, because if we're in a rush, we just want to get it done. We're doing things out of fear. We're doing things out of obligation. We're just doing things possibly even from greed and just like the quick fix. Those are all low vibrational things. I think we can actually build things to be, a lot stronger and, energetically, when we go through a Saturn square in 7 years, if we're building from love, I think we'll have a lot less of a not so solid foundation. So keep that in mind at least, during this whole thing, because we are meant to build with Saturn and we are meant to build the new, all the new coming in. We're going to see a lot of new. But if we're in touch with our, our hearts and building from that place, I think that can actually be really powerful. So this is all about, bringing the bigger dreams into reality, though, for the next, couple years, where it's all about our personal power and our visions and what do we want to ground into reality. And we actually need to take action on these things because Neptune is the highest of the high. It's our imagination, it's our dreams, it's our vision, it's the intangible. It's like what's not here yet. And we think everything that is here now is stuff that someone has thought about, someone has visualized it, someone has really connected to it. from the other side and brought it, into this reality. So that's kind of what we all need to do. We need to make our big dreams tangible structures, and we can, come into new awareness with how to do this. I think, yeah, just Neptune is kind of turning our intuition on in such a crazy different way. And, it's going to become stronger and stronger with all these, water, like the water square going on. And then, Neptune and Saturn going back and forth on the Gandanta points, bringing new awareness and just new ways of being. And it's kind of, like the vibrational scale, I think will probably be your best friend during this. We have to embody it. And, when we're acting out of this lower energy, out of fear, out of grief, apathy, we stay stuck. Like, it's good to at least get angry. Like, that's why I appreciate those, Instagram pages that are just like the rage breakup ones, or we all get stuck in that, in our healing journey for a while, to like, diss the man or diss the woman, or, whatever, and just at least get angry so we make a change. So don't judge yourself for getting angry, to get out of a loop, because that brings you at least up here to make a change and to be in, acceptance, and then, reason, and then options, and then love and peace. So you start like moving in the right direction at least. And then building from up here is just way stronger than, building from down here, because, you don't want the quick fix. You want to be able to build, stuff that is for unity, for co-collaboration, for connection, for the betterment of humanity. And then, Saturn and Neptune can go really well. And they say people born with Saturn, Neptune are usually like very spiritually protected. Like they say there's like hordes of angels that actually support you. But anyway, that's how we get in touch with the good ideas. Anyway, you have to be up here feeling that love, feeling that peace, feeling that joy, feeling gratitude, and making that a daily practice so you can get in touch with your higher self and your higher consciousness, and bring like what you're supposed to bring down here into reality. It's all about embodiment first. And you don't, like, if you make that a practice and you see your energy shift, you will, be in touch with your own alignment, and you will be able to flow through life a lot easier versus forcing things, versus control, versus fear, and all the old ways of kind of doing things. We can come to this new awareness and this connection that's majorly coming in with the organic structure, which is, our natural rhythm and flow with nature and earth, and, time, like the natural time, not the Gregorian calendar, not like the Monday through Friday, not the, whatever structure you go off that's man-made. Structures that are more in touch with organic reality are going to be just stronger, and having that deep connection with your own inner feminine. So we're stepping into new ways of being, and it's all about embodying the energy and you visualizing your highest self. And that is your structure first. You have to like know your plan, because Aries is all about the self. It's you. What is your plan? What is your vision? And we're going through a solar plexus, awakening with this. So we get empowered to act from that. Because once you start doing that, like, you think at first that it's going to cause a bunch of chaos and disorder and that it's selfish. But actually, when you start doing it and embodying that energy, like on the higher, scale, you see how you can naturally actually flow through life, that is better for everyone else. Because when you are like embodying the higher energy of love and peace and enlightenment, people start recognizing that. They feel that energy and you awaken them too. And it just creates everybody, if everybody, or it creates everybody acting from the higher ways of being versus competition and taking each other down. Right now it's kind of like we're getting out of a massive crab pot where we had to take each other down and just obey by those rules to like keep us all down. But when we start like being, we can get out of the crab pot and all kind of help each other rise, because there is no such thing as lack or limitation. But we have to recognize, like, we have to embody it ourselves and show people, to do it so they can rise too. And you'll see this happen, if you do it. But it's up to you. You don't have to do it. So, and then so this sacred divine masculine is coming online even more so. So we're going to see how that shifts. And that is our own masculine energy. And that is, the masculine energy that is going to be more so in tune with nature and cycles in the feminine and, their own inner wisdom. So we will be going after new desires, like higher new desires that are in touch more so with our higher self. And that's the funny thing about our desires, is that it's just to get us going in a certain direction. And then our desires change as we go along, and they're supposed to, because the whole point of a desire is to recognize our higher self, whether it's towards a person, whether that ends up good or bad, it doesn't matter. It's, at the end of the day, it's meant for you to be, empowered to recognize more of yourself. And we're always attracting what we need, not necessarily what we want, but it is actually what we do want at that higher level. It's what our higher selves wants, not what our ego wants. And, it's just about you accepting that journey to kind of go along so you can realize and embody more of your higher self and go after these desires. So yeah, there will be breakdown of old structures and loose foundations. So there's going to be a need to really be patient, with this. Just know we're going through a really like random, interesting time in human history, and it won't be like this forever. But at the end of the day, we're making ourselves more sovereign. And when you say that word, because that is a power word, words are power, you do like claim your power, in the moment. So when you say, like, if you are a little lost or a little too caught up in somebody else's stuff or a relationship, say, I am sovereign. And it brings all your power back to the here and now. So you can recognize, like, oh yeah, this is my center. This is my core, not all the crazy disruption and bullshit and all of the stuff that will be going on. You got to claim yourself as the sovereign creator of your reality, to recognize your power to create your reality. Okay, because there's going to be like spiritual warrior coming online. The spiritual warrior will be glorified, and the spiritual warrior there will be false ones. So it's all about like being able to recognize like false light and, true light, but, discernment. But still, never look outside of yourself to be saved or anything. Like, it's going to be nice to have spiritual warriors and everything, like leading the way. But like at the end of the day, you got to claim your own power. But spiritual warrior is taking action with an open heart for the highest good of all, not just for selfish reasons or ego reasons, So this is going to be great for us to recognize our sovereign dreams that can also be helpful for the collective, so we can build for the highest good of all. And so we can take action in alignment with our higher selves and with our highest purpose. So we're definitely cleansing the grind with this too. We're cleansing like the old dream. I think, with everything squaring this Capricorn stuff with Pluto that's been in Capricorn, we're getting rid of the grind. We're getting rid of the need to like work hard and the 9 to 5 and feeling like we need to go and go and go, and getting rid of materialism a little bit too. It's like, I think I had a dream, like, just we're washing away like that tense energy of constantly needing to go and go and go. It's like It's like that, like 80s, like Coke energy a little bit, like that Wall Street, like, ah, take it, like that fighting, for everything kind of energy. We're cleansing that away. I had a dream about it, so that's how I'm describing it. But, whatever, it's just a description. Um, but realizing that we can actually just flow towards like our highest dreams and desires and not like do things in this like Manny, man, or what's it, survival of the fittest kind of way. So yeah, it will be volatile, If you look at the stock market in like 1996 when this last happened, it's like up, down, sharp, sharp, sharp. And yeah, there will be days where personally you probably feel like the highest of the highs and then also the lowest of the lows, when you are cleansing and getting rid of, what actually wasn't, yours to hold. Um, but this is, necessary. That's so we are, lighter in general. It's going to be powerful to be a very bold dreamer. You have to know where you're going. You want to know your personal battle. You don't want to get lost in somebody else's battle or somebody else's dream, with this. Like, yes, it's going to be good to co-collaborate and where you will be able to find your village. Like village came out, you will find your people by being yourself, because at the same time you're going to recognize where you're discontent and where you're bored and where you're keeping yourself like locked in when actually you just need to jump over the fence and like go towards the new. And it's going to be very important for us to like be aligned with our passions and be aligned with our life force and going towards victory and success. Like we want to face these challenges to realize more of ourselves and, to feel the good, to feel the bad. Like we came here to feel and we came here for the challenge. We didn't just come here to sit and scroll on Netflix, and because we'll be really feeling that boredom and we'll get really like sunk in a hole. Like we need to take action and to kind of embody our vision. You want to dare to dream and you want to know the mountain that you want to climb. Yeah, there's the village and then there's the mountain. Like you can stay comfortable in the village, but when you go, towards the mountain, like you'll find your people and it'll be very healing to your own, masculine energy with feeling good with taking action towards your dream. So you'll find your true alignment in your own individuality and your own, soul path that we're going to be able to kind of recognize like more and more and more. And your own frequency. Like I keep on, this last Scorpio full moon, I kept on hearing music of the spheres. And that's kind of like what we're getting in touch with. Like, and we're all kind of connected in some weird way. And we're all meeting up with each other and like connecting. But in order to have those like connections that are just deeply fulfilling, we have to embody our full frequency and our full sound first. So recognize like true authenticity is going to be really powerful with this transit, and you discovering what more and more and more of your true authentic self is. Because, yeah, we're going to be able to see through like who's just has the ego and the mask on versus who's really embodying and who's like claiming that energy. It's going to be very recognizable, with who's actually doing it and who's just, saying that they're doing it. And because you got to earn it, this Aries is about the challenge, this is like a battle. The people that have had to really go through it and go through the fucking shit, it's gonna show, it will show if like you have earned it, if you've proved it, if you are it, or if you're, not. Like there's no faking it anymore. That's why you can see through the politicians and everything. Because yeah, it's just like we can see through the mask now. We can see through the facades. We can see through the bullshit. We're going to be able to see who's really real now and who's just faking it. So taking ballsy action just to win the challenge and to like just earn it and prove it and just to be it is what's going to be really recognizable. So yeah, be that spiritual warrior. Don't just look to the spiritual warriors. You actually have to be it and be just the warrior of your own life. And with Neptune here, I'm going to go through all the gene keys that these are going through too, just because it's helpful to know that to embody the higher frequency of Aries. But yeah, with Neptune here, it is all about unconditional love. It's about unconditional love for the self and prioritizing that and, having more acceptance of yourself, and everybody else. We're all flawed humans at the end of the day, and it's all about loving our shadow and recognizing our shadow, not suppressing the shadow, not running around with your unrecognized shadow to just throw at everybody else. You got to recognize your shadow and you got to love your shadow and know how, like, where your power lies ultimately, because your shadow is power also. But it's going to be very powerful to kind of live, just with open heart living. And you can only do that if you are, fully authentically aligned and taking action through, pure intentions. You have to, the old ways of, doing things in a contrived way or to make things look a certain way on a surface, like it's just not going to work anymore. It has to be from your heart. It has to be in that spontaneous way of your soul recognizing it in the present moment and just saying, oh, this is like what, what I came here to go after, to realize more of myself. And that's kind of what that impulse feels like. It's like, oh, that's exciting, and that's like, fiery and passionate, and that's like a desire. Like, not saying that, you should, recognize all your desires, like know what you're committing to be that highest version of yourself. So like, obviously in a relationship, know who you're committed to for the long term, not just go, after whatever desire. But, recognize at least what that impulse is. Doesn't necessarily mean you have to go be with that person, because that's not always the case, but you want to recognize what about that person is attracting you towards them, because that is more of a way that you can embody more self-love. It's going to be important to live out your highest truth. You have to take action with your highest truth. You have to know, and your highest truth is the one that you're visualizing, the one that you're connecting with, the one that you're imagining. Like, you can embody that. And it's about giving yourself that approval to actually do that, and to not everybody has to approve that, of that. Like, a lot of people actually don't do what they're meant to do, because they, this person would not like it. Like, your mom wouldn't like it, your dad wouldn't like it, your spouse wouldn't like it. You have to actually recognize your, your higher truth and what you want to do, and at least start to have those conversations. And that's how you can grow and evolve in those relationships. But you not living out your truth, because of their ego, and it's ultimately usually out of their ego that's running out of fear. You don't want to say stop living your best life just because, like, their ego is like saying, oh no, you'll be ridiculed. Oh no, that's not the right direction. Oh, like, whatever it is, like, you have to recognize that impulse that you're getting and do it. Because otherwise you're saying no to, God. Our desires are actually, from God. And, you do have to at least go in that direction. You don't have to commit to anything, because again, desires are just to get, the carrot on the stick to get you kind of moving towards your passion, towards your excitement. And then you see what's along the way. You go on the journey. It's all about working with your intuition. It's just like, and that's how you go with your intuition. Like, you can give yourself an intuition day where you just decide to go get lost in the city. You just decide to drive around and go where you want to go, and just have it, if you're not used to connecting with your intuition on a daily basis, which you should be with this going on, you can have an intuition day and, like, just follow your intuition to, like, where you want to go and follow your curiosity, and you'll see how your intuition works. You'll actually have a really fun day. That's why I love my Sagittarius moon when I go on trips. I don't like to overplan at all. Like, maybe I'll get a hotel, for a certain amount of time, but I don't want to plan all the dinners and all the, events and have an itinerary. I'm sorry, no. Because that ruins it. Because I know, like, when I get there, like, I know exactly where to go. I don't know how I know, but I know where to go to have the most fun. And that's kind of what you'll tune into if you give yourself an intuition day where you go on a little adventure and just kind of listen to the intuition pulses to kind of take you in the right direction. Because this is turning on for everybody. So that's very exciting. So, and then another part of this, like we're going to we can get disillusioned with war, with people getting sucked into other battles and everything. And, the problem with the world right now is there's so many empaths right now holding onto everybody else's pain. And in your personal life, like you don't want to do this. You don't want to hang on to anybody else's pain, like, and just hold yourself back from speaking your truth or saying what needs to be said. They need those lessons, they need those lessons to grow and evolve. And you need to become, and you can't like hold yourself back out of like, not wanting to hurt somebody, they need to grow and evolve also. And you being embodied and being empowered will help them grow and evolve and too, especially with you living from your heart, because that's like literally contagious. And yeah, just getting too sucked into the war stories and everything. And you can't not say don't look at it because, there can be times where you see what's going on and everything. And yeah, it is sad. This is a chaotic time in history. It's not gonna not be. We're not living in La La Land, like we're in Earth, which like kind of is dark sometimes. So, but we don't want to hang on to that because how we make the world better and how we create better structures. It all starts from us in our little communities. We can't control the whole world, but we have to recognize our own power. And the more people that recognize their own power, the more we can build like structures that actually work for us this time versus top-down structures that are meant to kind of suppress everybody so far. That's why we're stuck in these wars in the first place. So the more we can get empowered and let that spread, the better everyone else is going to be. And people with an open heart don't want you to hold their pain. If you recognize that, if you go to people that just have a wide open heart because they've gone through all their challenges, but they choose to live from love and compassion and in the, higher frequency of things, they don't want you to hold their pain. They're going to be the most authentic people and they're just not going to, let you do that, because yeah, it just traps them. So you came here to be your full essence and, it's up to you to kind of embody just more and more and more of your higher self and, kind of accept the journey. And it's a lot of fun because you get to recognize your ability to be the full creator of your life in every aspect. What we're breaking out of is the old karmic loops where we went into autopilot and where we just turned off and choices were made for us and, the direction, what is there for us. Like we're getting out of that to recognize our ability in the present moment to create and choose, everything. So the more that you can do that, the more you can kind of step into creator mode of your reality. And the more fun it is, the more freedom you get to have, the more sovereignty you get to have. Also with this, I will say, sacred sexuality, I think is already, a thing, but going to be more and more and more important because Neptune here, we're sponges for everybody's energy. And, who you surround yourself with, it's going to be, very important. At the end of the day, you always have your core and you are more powerful than you think you are. That's the whole point. You have to recognize more and more of your power. But obviously sacred sexuality, you like that intimate, you absorb, you're going to absorb their consciousness. And you do absorb their consciousness already. So it's important to recognize that we're sponges. And if someone's like stuck in bitterness most of the time, if someone's like has a lot of resentments or a lot of negativity, like you're absorbing that. And especially for the feminine, you're transmuting that for your masculine, and you have to agree who you do that for already, because that's going to happen either way. And the masculine energy tends to be more dense than the feminine. It's up to the feminine to bring them up, and it's, as long as that's what's happening, then it makes it easier. And then you take your energy kind of, I don't know, seriously, like don't sleep around anymore, especially with Neptune and Saturn in Aries. I don't, think that's, a good idea. They gave, the women liberation and everything and empowerment, and that was good for that, to us to evolve and everything. But there's a point where it's actually very reckless for feminine energy, because actually our sacral chakra, we can, men can actually energetically sleep around with whoever they want and kind of be fine. But women, we gave our sacral chakra, our feminine essence. We can only give that to one person. Otherwise, it literally drains our feminine energy. And, they get a creative boost and they get all like, these creative ideas and inspiration and all of that. It's going to be really powerful for feminine energy to recognize like where you need to keep that for yourself, unless you have a very supportive masculine. And that will get the masculines to kind of grow and evolve too. So that goes to say, we're helping each other transmute in different ways. And it's important to recognize where we support each other also with our chakras, being aligned, and how divine union is so powerful in that way, because the masculine, has that powerful root chakra. The feminine has that powerful sacral chakra. They have the powerful solar plexus, and we, give it to each other. And then, if you commit, if you get married, then that boosts up the heart and the feminine. That turns on creative mode ultimately. And that is why divine unions are going to be the most powerful in this new era too, with, us working together. Yeah, that is going to be just really, really powerful in this new era. Divine unions are very important. So go in that direction. Don't do the mainstream thing. And so I think a lot of people are going to recognize like living a life that's not mainstream approved, like the couple ways of life, the box, the label that you got to put on. I think it's going to be more powerful breaking away from that and just, again, tuning into your own vision and what you really want to do. Like, that's going to finding your own path, because none of us have a path that matches the other. Actually, it's all about you getting in tune with your own path and following your passion and your excitement to find your way. And there's, if you try to you get inspiration from other people's paths, but you never want to copy exactly like somebody else's path. So there's going to be a breakdown of ego, lots of dark nights of the soul. Like ego death is not comfortable. And, you can go a little crazy, honestly, because you're like, who am I? Where am I? What am I doing? And, it can be very extreme, especially with this energy. And, if you've gone through any crazy awakening like that, like a twin flame or, divine counterpart, like it is intense. It can be very, very intense. So go through that process. Try to stay out of the mental institution because it can literally get that crazy. And be patient. Be patient with yourself and others. But you're turning into the pioneer of your action and your dreams. And what's going to really help with this is I am affirmations, identity work, it all starting with you and knowing your vision, your plan. And so I'm going to go through the gene keys because it helps us to recognize the higher expression of gene keys. And then I'll kind of go through the cards. Okay. So we have the 25, which, Neptune's going to be at for, the beginning part of it with Neptune in the very beginning. So this is kind of the most important one right now. And that is us connecting with universal love, like real love, not love that's kind of the main love that's here right now with a bunch of conditions and a bunch of rules and a bunch of contradictions and all of that. Like we're connecting to more so the unconditional love. And it all starts with us, like what we're in, recognizing more love for ourselves and opening up to it. This is going to dissolve a lot of our own boundaries where we've constricted ourselves off, where we didn't feel safe, where we just shut it off because we wanted to be cold, where we can actually open up to more of the love and more of the adventure, So recognize wherever you feel constricted, that's where you're kind of shutting yourself off from the love of the universe. Because when you're in tune with gate 25, and being open with more love and opening up your heart to, kind of grow and evolve and go on this adventure, you get in touch with synchronicity, you get in touch with divine flow, and you recognize, just where you can kind of surrender, and you're always at the right place and at the right time. And if you get more in tune with synchronicity and flow, instead of like taking contrived action and everything, you're listening more so to your heart and just knowing that everything around you right now is what you need, not necessarily what you want, then you can open yourself up to like, oh, okay, like why do I need this? I'm getting empowered and kind of like going along. And yeah, you just, it's going to let us let a lot of boundaries just come down so we can just flow with more of the natural universal love, which is just, source, creator energy. We're all in touch with creator energy. It's just about us recognizing that. Did I say? I hope I'm making sense. Anyway. Okay. And then 17, when, Saturn is over here, Neptune's over here. This is about inner politics, our own opinions, and us kind of realizing that everybody is right at the end of the day. And we just have to look at our own shadow that is polarized to our other people's beliefs. And, let everybody have their own opinion. We all need different opinions to, do what we're supposed to do while we're here. There is no right way. There is no wrong way. We need to see where we trapped ourselves with our own opinion of something. And the more open that we are to everybody else's opinion, just listening, you don't have to take it on as your own, but then you get to decide more. You give yourself more options to recognize like what works for you instead of staying in your own limited view. It's kind of like having blinders on where you can kind of open up and see the unity of everything. We're stuck in duality, and that keeps us trapped in fighting. So the more this evolves us out of duality and into unity consciousness, where we can kind of find more of a flow and co-collaboration with one another. And I think we'll get out of this hellhole of the political cycle that we're currently in if we start doing that. Okay, and then 21 is all about control. And right now, control is very top down. It's like, feeling like we need to hold on to control and things need to be done your way. And instead, we can, kind of open up again and release to the flow of the universe and listen to our own inner authority instead of outside authority so much. Like instead of the church, instead of the government, instead of the books that, instead of academia that only gives you a certain way, to do things, like you can decide your own inner authority from your own heart and kind of surrender more again to the cosmos and to source. And 51 is awakening. So 51, we just went through, a Chiron Mercury transit where that's awakening us to more of us, and that's, when, Neptune's over here and Saturn's over here, which is, going to be a while. So, but that'll kind of like, we get to listen to our agitation. And this is about listening to our agitation, like where we're just like putting up with the situation and we're just like agitated, where we can actually decide, oh, wait, I'm the authority. I can make the change. And this, it can kind of shock you in some way. So you actually do make the change. And so you're listening to how you feel and you mind the shadow with where you've been ignoring yourself and not taking action, so you can kind of claim more of your power and more of your gift. And so you can step into the leader of your own life and you can listen to more of your intuition, even if it doesn't make sense. To go in the right direction. Listen to those desires for more embodiment. Instead of getting harsh with anyone or just trying to control somebody else. Yeah. And then 42, expectations. It's where we don't take action because we're expecting, things outside of us. Like say you're waiting for, something outside of you. And you're waiting to go to Europe, which you've always wanted to do. You're waiting on this person to propose because that's just what is expected at a certain point, or you're expecting things out of your friends, or you're expecting, all the ways we kind of wait to take action because we're waiting out of expectation instead of just being in the present moment and being in the adventure of life. You're going to recognize more of just seize the day, carpe diem. I don't know, seize the day. And then you can, again, like raise your frequency up here and realize all the different ways that you can create right now. And you might not even have to wait for a Euro trip to have fun. You can go seize the day and have fun now and enjoy that energy and go to a place in the city that you've never been before to really, open up to the adventure of life. The more that you live in the present moment, the more that you can have more trust and faith in the universe and the unfolding path that is going to be for your highest good and exactly what you wanted. The more you can be in alignment, the more that you can cause less resistance to going on what's going to be the most fulfilling for you by getting, on top of the vibrational scale and seizing the goddamn day. Okay. So you can detach. And they say detachment, is cold, but sometimes it is the best thing, because sometimes like you're putting too much pressure on them or they're putting too much pressure on you. And it's just like causing friction where there should be flow, where you can just like detach and get into your own thing. And it is actually more out of love and it is more out of, from your heart. So you can kind of let things flow with how they're supposed to go. And there's more celebration every day. You can allow the challenges to happen and you can accept them as opportunities for you becoming more and more of yourself. And yeah, it's just like, it's just letting yourself evolve actually a lot faster too. And then 3, at the very end, when we go into Taurus, this is the eternal child. This is where we kind of get into more creativity, new ventures, new creations, new beginnings, and we get to be the creator and be the vessel for God's creation. So we kind of allow just source to flow through us so we can, create more. And yeah, we got to realize nobody's going to come to save us anymore. The government's not coming to save us. All these old structures aren't coming to save us. The more we empower ourselves, individually, the more we can empower, have powerful communities, the more that we can, find our own village where we all kind of work together to make things work in a better way than they ever have before, to let the new world be birthed through us, not letting the current structures, not waiting on the current structures, because you'll be disappointed. And then listening to our creative impulses. But yeah, we'll go over that when it's time. Okay, so let's go over the cards. So the cards literally came out perfect for this. So the Father, the masculine energy, majorly getting in touch with the light and the dark, because unfortunately our masculine energy is more oriented towards the dark just because that's how we survived in the old era. So don't judge yourself for it. It's not meant to be judged or anything. It's just for you to recognize so you can be more aligned with yourself and your authority with creating. It's given you all the wisdom that you needed to build in a way that's going to be better for yourself and everybody else, moving into the future. And it's important for you to get in touch with that so you know what you want to go after and how you want to go after it and how you want to take action. So, it's very precise. Like it's like you moving fast because you're in, a lot more alignment with yourself and your soul. So you can be, really precise with your own destined path and your own destined direction. But it's getting in touch with the unseen too. I love, this is such a Neptune card where, getting in touch with the unknown, and you got to be okay with the unknown. We are in uncharted territory. Like, I don't think you really can even look back in history to find a time like now. Like, we are in the new. We have to create now, and we have to, like, we all came here for this reason. So we have to accept the challenge and be ready for it and trust the unseen. And it's actually not that hard. Like if you watch kids, in their natural flow and everything, going after what excites them the most, like you'll see them just naturally be in their own flow. And we're all born with that. We just get dumbed down from it. So it's up to us to really get in tune with the ways that we always sense stuff, and we're always picking up more than we recognize. And I think our sixth sense is actually like our first sense, like I think it's more of we're just actually more in tune with that, than we all recognize, but it's all about listening to it. It's all about taking action from it instead of, just saying, oh no, and just not listening to it. Taking that seriously and maybe having an intuition journal, can be very empowering actually. And yeah, I already went over the village, recognizing where you're discontent and bored in your village with the people that you're around. Because the nice thing is, this Neptune and Saturn are going to be making a sextile to Pluto and Uranus. So it's going to be all about connection, new ideas, new ways of communicating, new ways of connecting, and hopefully not all online because, who knows, like, I mean, yeah, to a certain point, yeah, we've had to connect online, but it is going to be really powerful to have, community and connections and people in, life that you really vibe with. We're getting in touch with more of our soul family than we ever have before. And if you don't know what a soul family is, like say, okay, take the color wheel, off of paint. And when you click on a red, you get that little box and there's all the reds, there's all the reds right there with the other colors. So your soul family is all the reds. And, as you kind of go along on your journey and you can kind of recognize this, like there's lower level soulmates, which are the red that's kind of far away. Then you get closer with, close, like high level soulmates that are really close to your red. Twin flames are the exact same red. So that's why it's like, jolting, because it's like so much of your own original core frequency, like trying to be embodied, and you go through that dark night of the soul and everything. But us finding our soul family, like it empowers us, it's energetic. It's us recognizing more and more of ourselves and what we dim down in ourselves that we have that we need to embody more of. So that's going to be really powerful to find, your village, your group, your soul family, your community that you can really build with. Because that's going to lead to the most, victory and success, and going to be really healing too. Because, it is like very inspirational when we can, claim that part of ourselves again that we've forgotten about, like, and completely turned off. So we can recognize, how fast we can actually go and how triumphant we can be. But yeah, expect things to move faster. We're going into, we were in so much like earth and water, like we're moving, into fire and air. So things will be moving a lot faster. And, things need to be moved fast. Like you need to release the fear and just kind of go along with the journey, because the journey will be really healing. And we're getting aligned with our destiny. Destiny Dragon came out, which is, all about going towards your North Node and the unknown and the uncomfortable. But that's just so we, self-realize and, come here for that deep soulful fulfillment. And the Delphine dragon came out. And I do want to kind of read this one. Okay, so Delphine, I love this because this is literally so perfect for Neptune in Aries. So I'm going to read it. Delphine is the etheric counterpart of the whales and the dolphins. The whales are the Earth's record keepers, and the dolphins are our spiritual ancestors. They carry a blueprint of our spiritual existence here on Earth. This wise old dragon of the deep carries the same knowledge and understanding within the depths of his being. Delphine has this to say about the journey in the oceans of our planet. The waters of Earth can cleanse or maim, support life or take life. You too are faced with a similar choice. You can choose to heal and be healed or swim in the riptides. Neither is wrong. It is only a matter of perspective and choice. You have been faced with the arduous situations at times and made some bad choices too. Remember, you are human, and as humans must, your race makes mistakes and on occasion poor decisions, but that is all a part of learning. It is time to forgive yourself and others and move on. Delphine tells us to look deep into our soul and ask, what is your purpose here on earth? What is it we must discover about ourselves? Are we healers? Are we a spiritual guiding light for others to follow? Are we seekers of the truth through science? Are we called to work with him possibly as ecologists or even marine biologists? He is very useful to call upon when feeling stuck and unable to go with the flow. His presence acts as a reminder that we must do well to stop struggling and surrender to the ebb and flow of life. For that which we resist persists. Your task is to uncover your driving passion and kickstart the job you came here to do. So yeah, it's all about movement and just being really open to all the possible ways you can discover your soulful path and your soulful journey. But yeah, it's all about forgiving and compassion and love and to have the right perspective, because you have to be empowered. And if you're stuck in the past and shame and, blame and victim, like you're just going to keep yourself stuck instead of moving forward and moving on into where you're actually supposed to be. Because everything that happens is always for a reason. Even though it's hard and sometimes it's hard to forgive. But in hindsight, you discover why. Okay, so, and then we have the tarantula. So sometimes I think it's going to be powerful to kind of sit back and wait too. We can easily be triggered and easily be like, wanting to fight and everything with all this Aries. But it's if you tune into your inner voice and refocus your intention and following your intuition is going to be the most important thing. You know when to pull back, you know when to go, and it's really, really powerful to get connected with that and to be in true alignment with your soul's purpose. And then the Panther I'm going to read because this is like super powerful. Yeah. Okay, the Panther, alienation of the unnecessary, purging. This is what's going to be majorly happening, collectively and then for ourselves. The Panther won't stand to see our growth or energy stagnant. Instead, it pounces into our lives and causes all kinds of havoc with the ultimate intention of bringing us toward more fulfilling lives. Hopefully this doesn't happen too often. But the thing is, like with Aries lessons, like we're going to see it. It's not, it's not Saturn and Neptune and Pisces where it's like subconscious and we're doing the internal stuff. This like will bring events, and sometimes volatile events. So we recognize like where shit needs to change. So ultimate intention of bringing us towards more fulfilling lives. And that is the ultimate goal, even if there is chaos and havoc. It's unexpected, uncomfortable, and sometimes feels devastating, but after all the dust clears, it's easy to see the Panther's wisdom at work. We've all been through these experiences and they've made us better people. Trust that the Panther's journey always leads to a brighter place. So when in balance, brave and productive. When out of balance, self-destructive. Don't be self-destructive. Um, Bring into balance by getting rid of the unnecessary. So yeah, a lot of us have done this self-destructive route probably if you're on this healing journey, especially if you are used to like repressing things in a way. That's usually and you're not listening to source and being excited with the ultimate direction that you're supposed to go in. A lot of us all, go towards self-destruction, and that's, leading from our wounds and everything and not from a place of self-love. So recognize, when you're in that energy, like what does need to go so you can be empowered. Um, and then elk. Elk came out reversed. This is the most powerful masculine energy. So this just isn't online yet, but it's coming online. And then let's see. But yeah, the elk is very grounded with earth energy too, fire and earth. We're grounding this masculine energy into earth. Elk has like a very open heart. So, it builds like what is good for everybody and everyone. And that's, what we're going to get majorly in tune with. Okay, guys, I hope this wasn't too long, but now I'll go through all the signs. Hi, Libra. So we'll start out with you. So this is happening in your area of your serious one-on-one relationships. So this could be business relationships, this could be romantic relationships, family, friends, any close one-on-one relationship is what this is affecting. And you're going to have to get serious about what you want in relationships. And you are definitely getting in touch with the unseen in relationships. There are soulmate connections definitely flowing into your life that are going to help you, embody more of yourself and everything. It's important to not have the rose-colored glasses and stay too long in a relationship that you might outgrow. If it's obviously bad, then it's time to, leave and get out of it. Because at the same time, you can have beautiful soulmate love, in a relationship that can get really serious really fast, especially in the next couple of years. Who just had Neptune in their seventh house since 2011 is Justin Baldoni. And they're, really cute with, they're a really cute couple. Like, really, like, they went through the whole Blake Lively scandal where she was, like, really trying hard to do stuff. And, like, because they are really, really in love. And, like, if you've seen his YouTube proposal and everything, it's cringy as all hell, but that's how in love you can get in how in love you can get. They're soulmates though, that's like what you want to do, like in a soulmate relationship. Because you have, you're gonna run into people where you've had lifetimes and lifetimes and lifetimes together. So it's kind of a almost unexplainable kind of depth of love that can awaken you to more of yourself. And, it can be scary, but it's all about being able to surrender into more of the love. And there's going to be, have to be a whole new depth of vulnerability, and yeah, just openness. Because in relationships, it's just like wherever we decide to not like really share our dark side, and there can't be, illusion in your relationships. There has to be a lot of transparency where you can show each other your dark side and, be fine with it. We're humans. We're all going to have a dark side. So, and that will get you more in alignment with who you're supposed to be with. So yeah, the fault line came out. You're definitely going to be, cracked open in a whole new way, in a good way, towards like more love, and more of that unconditional kind of love. Because the lion came out, your heart is definitely awakening, so you can step more into that proudness and more into like just being your full self. But yeah, it's going to bring you some awareness and more material harvest. Just because merging in relationships with you as a Libra does lead to abundance, you know? So it's all about letting yourself go through that evolution with relationships till you end up with, you know, the soulmate one that you're really meant to grow and evolve with and dialed with. Um, so yeah, and I will say your foundation might be a little shaky in the, you know, first couple of years because Saturn on Neptune, it rules your fourth house and fifth house. So there, you know, and that's already been happening, but there can be more of a, if you've been hanging on to an old way of being of things needing to be, then, you know, maybe like this will push you to definitely evolve. And it's also going to kind of open up the way you express yourself and, you know, um open up your heart again because yeah, Neptune, it's like, and sometimes like heartache does open up your heart, you know, broken heart actually does open up your heart because you remember like how you're supposed to be feeling and the depth of feelings, so you know you open it up again to find more of that unconditional love in the right relationship. And yeah, Neptune rules your sixth house, so flexibility with work. And I think it's really time for you to be doing something that you really, really love with Pluto, you know, in the fifth house. And, you know, your creative talents and skills from past lives are coming online. So it's time, you know, you can get in tune with that and put yourself out there into the world and, yeah, reap a lot of rewards. Anything else? No. All right. Thank you so much, Libra. That was a little too like love and light. So I do want to pull tarot cards for all the signs too, just so we don't like stick with that. Even though I personally like to give the highest you know, possible timeline so you get optimistic towards it because that's the whole point, you know. We are what we think, and you thinking of the highest possible thing that can happen leads you in that direction. So, okay, so yeah, but you're going to get release a lot of mental blocks that you might be trapped in, or maybe the way you think out love, like getting more into your heart, because you're releasing a lot of beliefs, you know, with thinking love has to be a certain way, or, you know, being on guard in a certain way. Like, know that deep, fulfilling love is coming in, and it'll help to forgive your exes, like, have compassion, have love at the end of the day with who didn't work out because they were the stepping stone to show you where you actually need to go in love. All right. Thank you so much, Libra. Scorpio, this is going on in your sixth house. So this is going to be affecting your work, your daily life, your routines, your structure, and definitely, obviously, there's already a major way like work is changing. You know, AI is taking over so much, and there can definitely be ways that you can profit with AI doing things, you know, with Uranus in the eighth house, like taking on some of the workload that doesn't need to be done that actually frees you up. But it's all about you being the creator in your everyday life and seeing the best way that you can do that for you, as much as you can. You know, if you have to do a 9 to 5, like I think 9 to 5 is going to be over, you know, in the next year, like you will see like people just not being able to, you know, do it more and more unless they're really passionate about it. It's about you being really passionate about your work and where, and kind of going on a soulful evolution journey when it comes to your work too. I think you'll find a lot of yourself with doing what you love and going after what you really want to do, and you know, taking bold steps, you know, that just make you feel empowered with work or even your daily life and routines. Um, you can release routines that don't serve you, like, and having routines, workouts, hello, okay, that are like with self-love, like what you eat, is it out of self-love? You know, what routines are just more out of self-love? And I think that can be the most empowering. What routines get you into that higher vibration every day? That will also be the most empowering and create more of a flow. in your daily life. And also, this could be really powerful for entrepreneurship with this stuff making a sextile to Pluto, working from home in a really powerful way, working, towards more art or more creativity. Um, but yeah, this transition, it's all going to be about not avoiding, not like you think you have to work and grind and work hard, but that's like a false, programming that you don't actually need to work hard and grind to be abundant. It's all about, you getting more in alignment with your soulful path and that highest version of yourself to find the most abundance. And you're very intuitive, like you're a Scorpio. Like you are intuitive. You already know. Like you pay attention to your third eye and your intuition and your daily flow, and you just know. And it's time to like, and the crone came out. Crow spirit animal might be very significant to you, but you have this deep soulful wisdom with how to create the new and how to structure the new. I think you're going to be a big part of, creating the new structure in your work for everybody that's going to serve everybody too, because you have this like deep intuitive sense with what people need emotionally. So I think you can be really powerful leader with restructuring your work that in a way that, suits everybody as an individual. So yeah, this is going to make you more aware of how you can make easy, abundance in everything and how you can actually shine out in the world with this six of wands, because Leo ruling your 10th house, like doing what you love, being like, glorious out in the world is ultimately like your soulful path. So listen to those like ideas and everything with with Neptune in the sixth house. I have that. I always get really good ideas when I'm cleaning and when I'm working out and when I'm like taking care of myself and moving around. Like when I'm busy, like I don't get the great ideas when I'm sitting and meditating. I have to be doing something and actually getting those good ideas when I'm of service to people. That's how I receive my best ideas. So yeah, find your flow and be flexible with planning and organizing, in the upcoming future. And yeah, you can use your shadow that you're very in tune with to bring more and more things to the light. I think especially if you work in corporation and people are getting really fed up with working the 9 to 5 or, just the, ways the corporate world is kind of structured right now, that can be shifted to, the betterment of everyone. I think you already have this awareness with how to do it, the crone, and it's all about you taking charge. Okay, and yeah, Saturn also affects your third house and your fourth house. So be flexible with your mentality. I think a lot of old mental programs can really dissolve away, so you can be empowered in your everyday life and have these brilliant ideas with what to implement every day. And maybe you move for work too, because you know Saturn rules your fourth house, so maybe you move for work. Maybe you accept your dream job somewhere else. And then Neptune, just creative ideas that can help structure at work and home kind of flow better all around. All right, thank you so much, Scorpio. Sagittarius, so this is in your fifth house, of love, dating, romance, creativity. You're definitely being cracked open to a whole new level of creativity. And, I think you're going to be dissolving a lot of boundaries when it comes to your heart and relationships to connect to that deeper love, the more compassion and empathy and just love that you can have for everyone in your life. It'll make you radiate more love. And when you radiate more love, you're more connected to your heart. So you can create out in the world and create kind of, abundance for everybody. So you are definitely going to go through a transformation And Saturn also rules your second house and your third house. So there might be a restructuring with the way you do work and the way you earn money. And this can be a bunch of creative ideas for, different income streams and yeah, just different new ways of making money that you're passionate about. And maybe you decide to start a creative project. Maybe you decide to go into art, music, spirituality, altruism. You can kind of go in that direction, whatever you're really passionate about. That's the ultimate compass. Go after what you're passionate about and, build from love, and that will lead you to the most prosperity. And yeah, this might affect the way you might move again, even Neptune's been in your fourth house. But since Neptune rules your fourth house, maybe you are going to live like where you really want to live. And, just like, yeah, wherever you're really passionate about and deciding to actually just do that. But yeah, it's all about really following your heart. So prosperity begins, in prosperity with partnerships kind of came out because yeah, prosperity begins and there's two hands here. So a lot of the times, a lot of what Sagittarius is, they like what they do for work, they do have partnerships, strong partnerships, sometimes love partnerships. That's not uncommon since the ruler of your 10th and 7th are the same. So you're going through a transformation. So don't resist the transformation that's happening because there's definitely a whole new beginning. That can happen with doing what you love. And I think this primal, like your primal Sagittarius energy is coming back online with all this fire to really listen to your animal instincts to kind of go in the right direction. And after this deep cleanse with all this water that just happened, I think it's like you're discovering, kind of an empty room. Like all possibilities are possible. And it's about your actions on an everyday. This is kind of reminds me of the law of karma, because all our thoughts and actions and emotions, if they're good, that's planting seeds of karma for more good. If they're bad, you're planting seeds for bad to come your way. But this is ultimate creator mode. You're getting in touch with the universe in a big way in past lifetimes, so you can create and manifest in a crazy way. And it's kind of like you're setting yourself free with this new beginning, and you're on more of a Dharma timeline because this is, a Dharma house where you can have more fun and prosperity. And you've been through that deep internal transformation, and it's about embracing this new beginning now. And yeah, it's about recognizing your underlying emotions for what you really desire. And this is desires from the higher self too. And you realize that as you go along, because you don't recognize the ego until you recognize the ego. So you go after the desire, the thing you think you want, and then, your desire evolves and you want this other desire, but it's go after the desire so you recognize more of what's actually deeply like fulfilling to your higher self that you didn't even, recognize was going to be really deeply fulfilling. So a lot of you, it's about releasing the need to like for work and grind, because you're still probably evolving out of Pluto and Capricorn for your money. It is more about love and co-creation and recognizing the skills that you already have. Sagittariuses are naturally lucky because we are natural transmuters of energy. So we are meant to bring like positive vibes wherever we go. And we do get lucky with like the art of like sales or whatever, because we recognize like, what people need. Like it's like you could sell, people are selling music, but they don't realize that they're selling music because people are enjoying music, but it's raising everybody's like vibration, that kind of thing. So like maybe recognizing like what you love is what other people need too, and that's gonna like take you in the right direction. And then lovers came out again, so it's definitely about love. And, maybe there will be multiple soulmates, maybe there will be one strong soulmate, but really it's about tuning into what you really want in love, because that's going to take you to your highest soulful path and direction, and realize the limitless possibilities that you can have in love. That this is a whole new chapter in love, in a whole new beginning. So don't let past hurts or anything like hold you back from finding that deeper love. And yeah, I think you're just awakening to love and partnerships and the way that can happen in a whole new way. And maybe relationships that don't take as much work. Because these are like soulmate connections that can naturally flow and expand, and you flow and expand and grow and evolve, and until you can't anymore, and then it can be a peaceful like letting go, and then moving into, yeah, whatever's next. All right, thank you so much, Sagittarius. Hi, Capricorn. So this is happening in your fourth house, with Saturn and Neptune on your fourth house. I would say don't live too close to water. If you live in a hurricane zone, probably time to move. With this going on, I wouldn't suggest it because there is going to be more violent weather in general. I just got to say that because I know like a Capricorn rising close to water, that's house has already been flooded before. And I'm like, time to move. Like don't live like in a place where your house can get flooded. Be careful of water, and maybe if you have water insurance, maybe up that, and yeah, protect your house from water and maybe mold and steam. This could be steam problems. Yeah, stuff like that. Anything else? Yeah. Okay, but in a good note, you can live where you really like want to live, like a place that you really love. And it's all about like setting your sights on that and being excited to, move where you really want, and, where you can really be passionate and find your community, and where you can really shine out in the world, because Saturn rules you too. So there might be this big, massive shift with you discovering a different way to even be, that where you're more in touch with your passions and your core inner self, which is always a little bit childish with Aries in your fourth house, like getting in touch with your inner core. Like, and I love that about you Capricorn risings, because you all have that just natural childlike core that you never let go of. So it's really getting in touch with your inner child and being really uplifted by that. And at the same time, like healing and dissolving like, family wounds and past hurts from the past. So you can have more compassion and love and empathy and release yourself from these deep karmic ties. And also at the same time, creating a structure that is more evolved and more out of love and compassion and uplifting everyone, versus hanging on to any old family karma structures that would keep you a little more tied down. This can also bring a big evolution with money and what you value. And I suggest like Abraham Hicks, going after what you love, going after what you're passionate about. You don't know the ways that you can make money, and that the abundance is going to come into your life, but that's the whole point. If you remove all the limited ways that you can make money in abundance, like you open up all the ways that it can flow into your life, and that can make you so much more abundant. So Abraham Hicks would be a good one to listen to for that, because this can open you to all the avenues of making money that's helpful to you, but also helpful to everyone else in the direction that we're ultimately going. And I think releasing a lot of these limited structures and limited ways of that you've been out in the world can kind of really open you up out into the world, to the right communities, to new ways of thinking. You're releasing all the, old programming and everything. So you're really getting in tune with your inner core and who you are. So you can let that be the guiding light to take you where you're really meant to be, and to go after what you're really passionate about. Okay. Let's pull some cards. Yeah, foundations out of just love, not foundations out of control. Um, and yeah, you might go through some sort of awakening, with this. I wouldn't be surprised if you had some sort of like internal awakening because this is like, one of the houses that sets you free. You do this intense emotional purging to really set yourself free. And it might come through a relationship with Jupiter squaring Saturn kind of in June. But yeah, well, lots of cards came out for you. You're definitely meant to be powerful in this new era. Um, and you have the wisdom to do it because Pluto's just been in your first house for the last 15 years. Congratulations for making it, because not a lot of Capricorn risings did. So you have the wisdom that people need. You are just meant to kind of be where you're supposed to be, and you just actually need to be more, not plan more. Because there will be people that you can help that, are set up with their own power struggles and their own stuff that blocks them, where you kind of have this knowledge that can actually just help them. So, listen to, but it starts with you and your core. Like, what are you passionate about? What excites you? So you can always be grounded in your core. But this looks like it's majorly awakening you. I mean, three chakra cards came out for you. So the solar plexus, the crown, and the heart. So I think this will, yeah, you're going through an awakening. So this can definitely come through like a strong soulmate connection, like a twin flame, a high level soulmate relationship. It's about you at the end of the day. It's not about them. So whatever comes, like, you just gotta, like, this is making you recognize more of you, your heart, your solar plexus, your crown. Like you're being turned all the way online, so you might start to radiate a higher frequency, which makes you very attractive to the right people. And you are the vessel. Yeah. It's like you're, and you might be the vessel of, creativity. Some of you might really start a family pretty soon after, in the next couple of years. So be, excited for that and know that you're ready. Like, you're in tune with the riddle. This is like intense. This is life wisdom that you can only have by like living it. And you're comfortable with the unknown because you've gained so much wisdom and everything. So, let anything die internally that might be holding you back, out of fear or out of, yeah, just the lower dense things that you can really release those, that you can take what you learned onto the next chapter, but take the good stuff. The vulture came out. So take the good, not the bad. Let what needs to die, die, and then follow your passion and find the expansion. Release any power struggles. Um, when it comes to ways of being or like even in family, because there's a expansive new way that you can kind of go. So follow your passion, which is Page of Wands, and then you'll find a whole new expansive world out there. All right, thank you so much, Capricorn. Hi, Aquarius. So this is happening in your third house. This is your daily life. This is your communication. This is your schedule. Yeah, just whatever you do in your daily life. And, with Neptune here, there can be like serious writing projects that you start during this time that could actually be really, really powerful. This is really about owning your voice. Your voice has authority. You are a natural leader in this, Aquarian age and everything. And it's about you really stepping up and, owning everything. And I love how this is going to be making a sextile to Uranus in the fifth house and Pluto in the first. So, this could be a lot of creative projects and, new ways of self-expression and maybe you being an entrepreneur because, yeah, Saturn rules, or Neptune rules your second house. So you can come up with a lot of creative ideas with making money or, a creative business or, yeah, just something you monetize. That's a part of your natural skills and talents. And yeah, maybe you decide to, kind of make your own daily structure. Saturn rules you in your 12th house. So there can be a lot of ways that you get rid of ways of self-sabotage, which we all have our ways, like, we go ways that we just naturally go on autopilot, or the ways that we limit ourselves. We can dissolve a lot of limiting beliefs, maybe by kind of opening up to your intuition and taking action on your desires and everything in your daily life. I think action can actually unwind a lot of those limiting beliefs or self-limitations. And this can evolve the way you show up out in the world. So you can find, more of your authenticity, more of your authority, more of your boldness, and more of your natural flair. And yeah, it's really supportive with these sextiles, more fun, more excitement, more following your passions in a random, exciting way. Also, going through evolution with love, with Uranus here, you could have random partnerships or romantic relationships that come into your life that kind of help you recognize more of yourself. Uranus is actually a major soul awakener. A lot of the time, so when you get a Uranus transit, you do meet random people that take you to soul family, that kind of open up your world to completely new ways of being and new ways of thinking and doing things. And, it's kind of random and exciting, but you're supposed to kind of embrace the eccentric ways, the eccentric ways that with following your own passions and interests can really open up your world in this upcoming year. And we get a little taste of it this year, and it's coming back full, all the way in 2026. So Thanatos, I always forget this card, but there's kind of a weaving of everything together. Let me read Thanatos because I always forget, and it is a really good one. It is tempting to oversimplify death and sum it up as transformation, but the true archetypal resonance of Thanatos cannot be easily assimilated or contained. Death is ongoing and omnipresent, an eternal response to the gift of birth. Witnessing the end of another being, creature, phase, or stage has deep consequences for the psyche. We are forever changed by Thanatos as it sweeps under its wings, making us relinquish control in every form. It leaves a mark of ash upon our heart, signifying we have touched the cusp of the underworld, and we will return to the land of living eventually with more compassion and wisdom to share. This capacity is needed in our world. One who has faced alienation of Thanatos can face anything. When this card appears, it signifies an initiation into the underworld. So yeah, there might be, with this, like, big endings and big new beginnings, and you're kind of weaving everything together, because it's like a spider web. You're kind of weaving a lot of, people and maybe situations and maybe past life stuff together for this major transformation. Realize your voice is very powerful. After Pluto has gone through your 12th house, you're, kind of in touch with spirituality in a way that people definitely, need in this new era. So recognize, your just ability, the power of your voice and your natural wisdom that you have that can be so helpful to other people. And then on a fun note, you're stepping into your queen energy. You're going to be really in touch with the divine feminine in your daily life and that natural flow and receiving a lot of just creative ideas and everything. So really just take this as, stepping up into your queen energy in the most authentic way and, heading towards your soul purpose and letting yourself bloom too, because there's a lotus flower on this. I didn't even realize there's a lotus flower. That's pretty. So you can kind of, let this transformation, and a queen does, the queen is usually the one that's not liked. So realize, divine feminine energy isn't always liked, because it is powerful, and society likes to take down the feminine a lot of the time, because if everyone was supporting her, she would probably be way too powerful. So recognize, what snake skin you need to shed and everything, to become your most powerful self and evolve with that, and not be scared of that. You gotta, just take on the challenge and know that you just have this natural, like, you have divine will, like, really on your side. And it's more so you finding your queen power so you can step into that highest version of yourself for the good of all. It's not just for you, it's a collective endeavor. So know that by you doing that, you're helping everybody out. And the kiss came out. So there's going to be a nice evolution of love and soulmate relationships. And, you following your intuition to go towards love. And yeah, let's see. The crocodile came out. Let me see. I didn't shuffle that. Actually, I'm going to shuffle that a little bit better. Okay. Power. Fulfillment of wishes. Yeah, you're going to have really strong partnerships around this time. So really trust the flow with evolving into the right relationships. And the right relationships are going to be very balanced, very, give and take. This eight energy, it's like a powerful evolution. And it's like, I kind of envision this eight energy like you both are equal, and you both help each other kind of evolve into the most powerful version of yourself. And that's not always the most comfortable thing to do, but it is ultimately for your highest good. And, you just kind of got to get into it yeah, love is love. And there's the good parts of love, and then there's the messy parts of love. But at the end of the day, the more compassion and openness that you can have towards love, the more you can, in partnerships, it doesn't have to be just towards love. The more you open yourself up to all the abundance that is really meant for you. Because yeah, I definitely see, like, some of you might be wanting to detach from love, not wanting to really get into the messiness and everything, but you're missing out on that deep, like, soulful fulfillment and evolution, to go, like, towards your heart, like, in this lifetime, and to really fulfill to your highest destiny timeline in love. And not being afraid to really speak your truth, full on authenticity is being able to really speak your truth and own it, and not being afraid to go through that evolution with wherever, it takes you, because it will ultimately take you somewhere very fulfilling. Yeah, so get to know the crone energy, your deep soulful wisdom that you already have, that's always guiding you. You are always connected to source and always being guided, and you always have help. Even if you're alone, you're never really alone. And the more that you get in touch with your higher self and connection and all of that, the more you know that. And yeah, you will, go through powerful evolutions. And I think, this energy can really help you do it with, being quick on your feet, just, new projects, new communities, not that you're going to be constantly going through the new, but you're constantly evolving in general, and not being afraid to evolve, and then take the good and go where you're supposed to go. And, yeah, ultimately you're going towards fulfillment of wishes. All right. Thank you so much, Aquarius. All right, Pisces. So this is happening in your house of money. And with Saturn moving here, there can be definitely, like, a big shift with your money, like a redirection into a new job or something new, so you can be more soulfully aligned with the way you make money. Because with Neptune here, you're going through an adjustment overall. Neptune was in your first house, in your home sign, and now in your second house, it's, more toward taking the lead, taking action, towards, the things that you value, and your values might elevate during this time. And I think Abraham Hicks would be really helpful, because, it just helps you reprogram the mind and everything with the ways you can receive abundance, and kind of like be in higher tune, with abundance in general, and all the ways that it can flow into your life. if you listen to anyone that's like really like used Abraham Hicks to see like and really listen to the rules and practice them, like they're like, oh yeah, abundance came from here and here and here and here. And it was, you know, super unexpected. And I asked for this much and I thought I was going to get it this way, but I ended up getting it this way. And yeah, just being open to the universe and all the ways that abundance can kind of flow in. You might decide to monetize like creative projects or, you know, something that you're really passionate about, something that you're spiritually connected with. With Neptune here, it's kind of great to monetize art and creativity and music and you know, media, you know, maybe even social media, all of those things. And let's see, Saturn rules your 11th house and your 12th house. So you might go through some sort of evolution with friendships when it comes to this shift and your groups and your networks and who you're hanging out with. And, you know, with your redirection with going after what you truly value and what you're passionate about might change up your friend group. And your 12th house, it's you can go through a evolution with the ways you self-sabotage, the ways you limited yourself, the ways you know, you were on autopilot when you can actually be more of an active manifester in your reality and a more conscious co-creator. So yeah, you can step up into that most powerful version of you and be like, yeah, just super empowered. And yeah, I like this sextile because it's like, you know, what you value might change where you live and connect you more to your higher self. And, you know, Pluto in the 12th house, like there's an intense channeling with the other side and everything and the other dimensions and, you know, all of that. But yeah, let me pull some cards. Okay. The shadow. So the light and dark, you're definitely going to be transforming the dark and the unseen with this. But with that, you can really discover what you're passionate about, where your passions are, because this is direct access to your higher self. And when you go after your passions or your desires, you know, you get to discover like more of your shadow because sometimes you run into good, but sometimes you run into bad, and then that's how you can recognize more of your shadow. And um, your shadow is like more of your deeper soulful self and how you can have more unconditional love for yourself and how you can bring all of yourself more so into this reality. So the flame is all about following your passions and you know maybe significant relationships come into your life that really ignite this flame and this passion in a whole new way. Whoa, your Uranus is coming out too. So I think you're really getting in touch with you know, some sort of like just very like what you're deeply, deeply passionate about and, you know, not really holding back. And maybe it's, you know, some like certain passions that society has, you know, just said this isn't allowed for whatever reason, you know, that you can kind of go in that direction with to find like the gold of what your soul truly values. Because your Eros is I don't know, like there's desires that the ego wants, and then there's that the deeper, deeper desires that like is the diamond within like your soul. You know, it's like what your soul really, really values and what your soul really treats as precious. And that's like what you really, really desire. That, you know, is like so much more precious than anything the ego could ever come up with. So yeah, emotional withdrawal. I think you're going to find a lot of the answers within. You know, don't be afraid to spend time like, you know, hermit mode, meditation, visualizations. That's always going to be very, very powerful with connecting to those deeper desires of, yeah, creating and what you can create. And you are meant to birth something, I think, with this. And there's so many ways we can create. You can create family, you can create you know, like fertility isn't just pregnancy. Fertility is like creating music, creating art, creating a business, creating, Steve Jobs created the iPhone, like all the, like whatever your soul is really pulling you towards, that you want to create here in this new era. And earthworm, yeah, it just looks like you're going through a big evolution, but this big, like the earthworm is kind of in touch with the very beginning of grounding something into the reality, grounding this unimaginable dream into reality. But you already know, you already have everything inside of you to like really ground whatever you came here to ground. Yep. It's just recognizing your power to really create and knowing your power with vulnerability and everything and the right relationships to go in the right direction. All right. Thank you so much, Pisces. Hey, Aries, this is a big one for you, but I think you're really prepared for it. I think all the rising sign or all the fire signs that went through this big internal death and rebirth with Saturn and the North Node and all that water stuff, you're definitely ready to step up in a whole new way. So the first house kind of has to deal with your whole life. It does have to deal with your relationships and where you live and how you show up out in the world. And you might be going through a complete evolution and, stepping into that identity in that role that you're really passionate about. It is time to recognize maybe where you've lost your zest for something, or, maybe where you're not feeling this big inspiration and motivation, because Neptune in your first house is making you super lucky and is making you kind of a master manifester of being able to step into that highest version of yourself in a very easy way. Um, so it's all about you kind of releasing any of the ways that you might have been staying small and keeping yourself, a little too or limited, in life. It could it could be because of relationships, or, all the ways that we try to dim our light and keep ourselves small. Like you're really supposed to just be a big, bold, shiny light out in the world in this new era, because you're really showing us how to take the lead and embody more of our full authentic self. So with Saturn, it rules your 10th house and your 11th house. So you might be going through a shift when it comes to your career and what you're known for out in the world. So you can be more so aligned with what you want to do and what you're really passionate about and how you shine the best and who you connect with. The 11th house is friends, groups, networks, your hopes and dreams for the future. It's social media. You can be very influential, really connecting with the broader world, really. You can go through an evolution when it comes to friendship groups in general, but just know that'll always be powerful. And sometimes with 11th house transits, you can jump to different friends and groups and networks. It's kind of like the friend that knew all of the friends or all the groups in like high school or something, so not being afraid to like switch it up, because that also kind of leads you through an evolution that makes you embody more of your authentic self and your identity. So know what role you want to step into and what you really want to build in all areas of life. Because with Saturn moving in here, it's kind of like knowing what dream you want to build and what boundaries you need to put up in order to obtain that dream. And boundaries are going to be a little hazy for until 2027, just because Saturn's going to be so close to Neptune. But as long as like you're kind of letting things flow and evolve, and with Saturn and Pisces, or Saturn next to Neptune, it's kind of like filters, not boundaries. Like the boundaries don't need to be super like hard and set until Saturn, gets away from Neptune. But being flexible, having that unconditional love lens that you'll kind of have in an easier way towards people and, everyone like is really healing. You're going to be able to have more unconditional love and compassion for everybody in general. And you got to realize how healing that is. I healed majorly like during my journey with someone just showing unconditional love, and you feel that, when somebody like really radiates that to you. And, just your very presence can like be so healing to other people. So you really have to embody that unconditional love. And I think you'll be very, powerful in this new era. Unconditional self-love first, and then you'll know how to show up with unconditional love for everybody else. Because with Neptune in your first house, you can, it is all about embodying more of that higher self and, having kind of a direct connection to your higher self, but being fully embodied. So that's like really interesting. And knowing that, yeah, just being your full authentic self. Not everyone's gonna like it, not everyone's meant to like it, but it's you're meant to like find your people and who loves it. When you do that. So let's see what's going on. What does Aries need to know? The castle. So yeah, you're building a castle in some way. You're really building your own foundation. With Jupiter in the fourth house for the first year, it's going to be really nice to have your home environment. And Mars just cleared this area out. So you've gotten rid of all the beliefs and all the toxic family patterns and stuff that you can get rid of. So you can kind of go through a gnosis with bringing a lighter foundation that really serves you and your, family and, putting up boundaries that way, just having a very solid core with the people that you're around, to really have that solidness in the mirror. Relationships are going to be really powerful, for you. You might have very, rose colored glasses in certain relationships. That's not always bad. Just it's important to not, keep people on a pedestal if they're not treating you right. But you are definitely going through a soulful evolution with serious relationships. And that know that every relationship will ultimately come into your life to empower you to so you have more self-love, so you open up your heart in a whole new way that you didn't even know you could open up your heart. And it's kind of like, yeah, not everyone's gonna make it, or be in your life all the time like they used to be, but not everyone's meant to, you're like the things that you do have to sacrifice are setting you up for this bigger, brighter future with where you're meant to be and what you really came here for. And success is just bound to happen, especially with when you open your heart. Um, Home is where the heart is too. This castle's green, heart chakra. Yeah, home is where the heart is, and I think that's where you'll find like so much clarity and grounding. Okay, so let's get an animal card. So divine feminine energy, definitely. Wait, why did I resonate the bat with divine? Because I watched a reading the other day where the bat was divine feminine energy, but the bat's really in touch with the moon and just intuition. And the turtle came out with the turtle on its back. The I Ching was inspired by the turtle or something because all the archetypes are on the turtle's back, on the turtle's shell. So you already have this like wisdom from your soul self, from your higher self, that will lead you in the right direction. And it's all about really tuning into that. Um, and yeah, just when you do take action from that like higher knowing place and from the heart, it'll lead you towards like the better things and not the impulsive things that don't like lead anywhere. And it's all about really knowing your value and your self-worth. But I want to read the back. One sec. I gotta find the book. Okay, so bat, darkness, letting go, death and leading to rebirth. Before emerging, the bat waits for the sun to set and the moon to rise in the darkness. It can see all that was invisible in the daylight hours. The bat is a master of the subtle senses, of the underlying forces that cause some things to prosper and others to fade. The bat shows up to signify the ending of a chapter, the closing of a door. The bat comes swiftly, encouraging us to move on. In just a few hours, a new day dawns, no more lingering in the past. When balance adapts, accepts, and adjusts, when out of balance refuses to let go, reminisces, bring into balance by watching the sunrise. So yeah, you're kind of really coming online in a whole new way because you had a pile up in your 12th house where it was kind of more so hermit mode, sit back, relax, like more so in the subconscious. And now it's like, boom, you're being like activated. You're, coming on, you're entering a giant new chapter where, when a whole new era starts, things leave and then so this whole new chapter can begin. But ultimately know that you are stepping more and more into the light. So focus on the bright and the shiny and the exciting and the new coming in instead of maybe staying too stuck in the past. We all have our moments with reminiscing and connecting with the past and nostalgia, but no, you are stepping into this powerful new era that you've been waiting for. And you'll definitely be going through a spiritual awakening, I think, with this too, because with Saturn and Neptune kind of going back and forth, bringing your higher self to your first house. And, that's a Gandanta point right here. That's just awakening you to more light, more spirit. That's going to kind of give you this new kind of consciousness so you can step up and do what you're meant to do here. Okay. All right. And one sec, the mirror. Yeah, the mirror, yeah, just a lot of soulmate relationships that will reflect a lot of you back to you. But it's all about the missing fragments. And, not everyone's meant to stay, but everyone's meant to bring something to you to kind of remind and reflect to you more of you. All right. Thank you so much, Aries. Hi, Taurus. This is an interesting place for you because this is in the 12th house. So this is getting in touch with, your higher self and your subconscious and the other dimensions, basically. It's like the 12th house is where we're all connected and we don't really know how we're all connected. So definitely getting in touch with that energy. And I think I've already been kind of getting into this, really getting into manifestation practices, gratitude on a daily basis kind of thing. So you can kind of realize when you direct your energy that way, things do come back to you and, things come back to you in a way that you can't, not always the same way or not always the way you expect, but you sending that energy out there definitely helps in general. This is also getting you in tune with the 12th house is where we can't see things. So what's been hidden and with Saturn that rules the 9th house and the 10th house, maybe revealing what you didn't really see about society and being out in the world. Maybe a way you can dissolve certain belief systems that have been too rigid and too fixed that can kind of go through this spiritual evolution with more so being connected to your higher self and to your deeper soulful self to see what really resonates with you and what empowers you the most. And maybe deciding to show up out in the world in a whole different way that resonates with that deeper version of you and your higher self. And what you're really passionate about. Also, you can start creative projects during this time with, just working behind the scenes. This is also the area of working behind the scenes where you want to put something out into the world. You have a really good creative idea of something that can help everyone and, kind of help us move into this new era. You can definitely work on it behind the scenes and then launch it out into the world. And that can be really powerful. Neptune rules your friendships. So there might be certain friendships coming to light and then, not coming to light because this is the dark house, but certain friendships dissolving away because they're just not aligned with this higher soulful path and journey. and you getting aligned in a really powerful way with soul connections and friendships and networks that are really meant for you and that will help you evolve to where you're really supposed to be out in the world. So it is a pretty big shift, and I definitely recommend with this getting in touch with your higher self. Visualizing can be really powerful. Um, yeah, be in touch with like meditation, like connecting with your higher self, whatever way you can do it. And yeah, getting those really brilliant ideas and everything. Um, I guess make sure don't hermit too much because this is an extroverted era that we're moving into, and Tauruses do have a big tendency to hermit. It's coming from one, definitely. That you're because there is power with connecting with community, with being out in the world that can help you massively evolve into that most powerful version of yourself out in the world. And yeah, because you're going to be going through an evolution with what you value and how you can make money and have different income streams. And there might be bursts of large amounts of money that come into your life. And there can be elevated ways that you make money through connections and different people or different ideas, or the ways Uranus takes you on a little adventure, because you never know when you're Uranus. I mean, you're a Taurus, so because you've dealt with Uranus since 2017. Uranus just takes you on a random adventure, like whether it's information, whether it's people, whether it's whatever, to break you out of the box. So you kind of, like, it's a Uranus adventure is like this thing, that thing, this thing, that thing, that thing. And it just takes you on a wild ride till you're like, oh, this is what I needed to know. And it awakens you in some way. So it's exciting. So yeah, you're going to be doing that with money now. So let's see what Taurus needs to know about this. Yeah, the empty room. You're really getting in touch with your higher self and all the creative possibilities, and evolving out of karma in a way too, because the 12th house is the karmic house, 12th house, 6th house. So it's like having more, really doing the subconscious work and really planting seeds and thoughts and emotions and actions all aligned together so you can plant seeds with good intentions and take actions from love, and plant all the good karmic seeds that will come back to you to bring you more abundance, and just realizing your full potential to create whatever you want. Because you're connecting with universe back here and all that is. And when you're in touch with that energy, there's literally unlimited potential to create. So just you realizing that you have that ability can help you really step into the king role, which is divine masculine energy, and really knowing where you can direct your energy and your time and your intention on the things that you want to really build, and connect with the right people. The village came out, so definitely don't keep yourself stuck in a village out of safety. You might go on a little adventure to climb a mountain or to like figure out more of what you really want to do. But yeah, it's all to take you to this highest evolution of yourself, into more financial gain and more abundance. Because yeah, financial gain, material changes came out. So that is very exciting. And I think you'll receive the most, you know, material abundance by connecting to this king energy, your inner masculine. But you have to give yourself some solitude to connect with it, some hermit mode every now and then. Learning, going, this is where we hermit to kind of focus on whatever we're passionate about. And usually, sometimes, whatever we're passionate about does bring in money and more of our hopes and dreams and what we do want. So, yeah, you're connecting with your star energy and your dream, your vision. You're recognizing, the intangible. So you can really ground it even more so into reality. And you'll do that even more so when Saturn moves into your first house, but this is like you getting in touch with that energy and kind of networking and connecting with the right people so you can do that even easier when that happens. All right, thank you so much, Taurus. Oh, and for Taurus, I meant to say channeling too, because you could be a pretty good channeler with Saturn or Neptune in the 12th house. I think I've been channeling this whole time. I have been. Okay. Anyway, so Gemini, this is affecting your 11th house. So this is going to affect your friends, or not affect. I don't like to say affect with astrology because astrology doesn't affect us. It's as within, as within, so without, as above, so below. Like it's like a clock. We're kind of looking at the, stuff going on outside of us because it's going on inside of us also. Everything moves together. So anyway, with Neptune in your 11th house, maybe you're connecting with spiritual friends and people that know weird, like esoteric information like that. So esoteric friends, arty friends, friends that want to help the collective and humanity and like altruistic, they might be into some altruistic endeavors, like helping, the homeless and all the good things to help humanity. And this is kind of like the new ways of helping humanity, though, because this is where the new energy is starting. So there could be definitely new structures that get started that you're involved with that really is going in this whole new direction. So your friendship group might change, but you're really getting connected to who you're really supposed to be connected with. And so you can get in alignment with your hopes and your dreams that you're meant to fulfill. And you're doing it in a fun way that is more so with co-collaborating with other people versus, doing it all by yourself. So you get to connect with everyone and kind of go through this exciting evolution with Uranus that'll be entering your first house too. Like you're going to be evolving, you're going to be awakening, you're going to be kind of stepping into a whole new version of yourself and more of your authentic self that does set you free because Uranus is all about freedom, authenticity, exploring the randomness. It's futuristic, future forward. You might be connecting with a bunch of different kinds of people and going through evolution in certain relationships. And yeah, it'll definitely, the way you evolve will definitely evolve your belief system and the way you view the world. And yeah, just expanding your worldview and going through an evolution with your beliefs so you can release any beliefs that have been holding you back from, claiming your ultimate power of what you can really manifest. So you can manifest your highest vision possible. Um, and maybe you decide to travel a lot, because I do love Pluto in the ninth house, because that's like your intense desires are now um, fulfilling your highest purpose, your Dharma timeline and doing something that's deeply meaning and purposeful for you because Pluto's all about that deeper soulful meaning and what'll bring that deeper soulful satisfaction and not just ego satisfactions. So yeah, and it might kind of feel like maybe some of you might be kind of leaping into the new and into the unknown and kind of going on this like new adventure with different kinds of people. But it's going to let you shine out in the world in a whole new way that is more resonant with like who you are and who how you're meant to shine out in the world. So shadow, you might get in touch with some of your shadow or recognize your shadow, and I definitely suggest as a Taurus who just had Neptune in the 11th house, not all friends are meant to stay. Sometimes you are meant to spiritually evolve out of friends. So make sure you don't get disillusioned or attached to one friend that's maybe not like high vibe and elevating with you. There can be confusion with friends every now and then, but it's really all about finding the people that will work with you. The Chariot came out. So this is extreme, just willpower and force and drive towards your biggest hopes and dreams. And you're meant to do that with close partnerships, like the yin to your yang. And I recommend looking at gene keys actually with seeing how you can evolve in your relationships and evolve your frequency so you attract in higher relationships. You look at the IQ and the EQ. Like the EQ is emotional evolution, IQ is intellectual evolution, and you kind of go between both to elevate the frequency so you open up your heart and you attract in the highest connections. And that's like just you evolving out of karma when it comes to relationships, and there's only one way to do it. You got to go through the relationships. So yeah, some heartache and loss and everything, but don't let that hold you back because you're accelerating and you can go really, really fast. So when it's time to let go, definitely, let it go. You got a mountain to climb. Oh yeah. So Saturn rules your eighth house and your ninth house. So your connections and connecting with certain people might help you go through an evolution when it comes to making money and what you invest your time and your energy in. And maybe you do connect with friends that are in touch with astrology and the occult, sciences and gene keys and all of human design, all the things that can help you go through a powerful evolution with knowledge, because the ninth house is also knowledge, and knowledge is power. So don't be afraid of what you learn. This house is always really healthy when you're not afraid to explore and expand into different ways of living and different ways of thinking and different belief systems. And ultimately, at the end of the day, you choose what really resonates with you and what makes you shine the best out in the world and what makes you really powerful and accelerate the fastest out into the world. So yeah, and the King of Swords is all about being fair and balanced with knowledge. So I think the more belief systems that the more that you can be very diplomatic with all the people that you run into. Because I think this can be such a powerful position with knowing so many belief systems and seeing everybody's side and finding unity in all of them, so we can all start getting along and co-creating versus yes, the duality that's going on now. Because yeah, you have a mountain to climb with Neptune here too. You're connecting to a new vision that you're meant to be building, because Neptune rules your career. So, and you're taking action. You might be completely building the new when it comes to your career and some new structure. And you dealt with the old structure in a pretty powerful way already. And now I think you have a vision of what the new structure can look like. So you can kind of go towards that because you kind of know it in your soul. And that's definitely what you're meant to do. All right. Thank you so much, Gemini. Oh my gosh, I didn't even get these though. So you are in the empty room. This keeps on coming out for everybody. Like you have to realize it's so funny. You're creating the mountain, which is like a whole like full-blown legacy. And that makes sense with like what you're starting. You're creating a full-blown legacy. And this is like you're starting now, the ground up to build your own legacy. And it's going to come from this empty room, which is unlimited possibilities of what you can create. And this does have to do with karma and dharma. So what we receive is like karma, and how we react to it sets us up on our dharma line or creates more karma. So doing things more from the heart and building with intention and taking action and connecting with people, like that's just to truly resonate with your heart, and those more positive vibes will create like so many more possibilities of you bringing this whole like universe that you can envision, into reality. And it actually doesn't have to be hard or anything. So just know that it will be fun. You are equipped. It can be dynamic, and you actually can move pretty fast towards these dreams. So you're on the threshold Don't hold on to the safety zone because I think there's this fiery, exciting new chapter that you're jumping into, and yeah, it'll be really fun. All right, thank you so much, Gemini. Hi, Cancer. How's it going? Okay, so this is a big one for you. This is happening in your 10th house, and the 10th house has to do with your career, your legacy, your reputation, your long-term goals, and yeah, your just bigger direction that you're kind of going in. And you might be planting the seeds of what you want that to be like. In Saturn, that rules your 7th house and your 8th house. You might be going through a shift in relationships, your serious one-on-one relationships. This could be romantic, family, friendships, clients, for business, all any one-on-one relationship could be going through a massive shift with how you're showing up out in the world next, and with you deciding what you want to do in what you're really passionate about. And the 8th house is all about who you merge with too, in a more in-depth way, with more intimacy, more depth, aligning mind, body, spirit with those romantic relationships, and finding relationships that are really like truly, so aligned with you in every single way. But also, yeah, co-collaborators in business, and where you invest your time and energy, and making sure that you invest it in this bigger picture, in this overall vision that you have. And Neptune moving into the 10th house, it's like you're taking your beliefs with you to build now and to take action. Neptune's been in your 9th house, so you've explored a lot of different belief systems, broadened your worldview. You haven't had a lot of limitations when it comes to how you see the world, and you can take a little bit of different, a little piece of everybody's religion, or every way somebody thinks about something. So you have, just openness and love and compassion for what works for some people, what doesn't work for other people, but what works for you. And that we can all get along in harmony and have our own different belief systems. And now it's time for you to build what truly resonates with you and your heart, and, taking steps towards that. So yeah, there can even be inspiring new beliefs that kind of set you off in a whole new direction that you're, really passionate about. And yeah, let's see. So what else does Cancer need to know? Euros. It is about what you're passionate about. In the flame. This came out for somebody else. It's so funny how the cards come out um, for similar people. Who did this come out for? Pisces. Okay. So yeah, you're getting in touch with Euros. And Euros is kind of like not the ego desires. It's those deeper soulful desires that you don't even really realize. And you do have to go through challenges usually to realize the deeper soulful desires of what our soul really wants, because sometimes our soul leads us towards more challenge and more structure, and more just challenges to build. It's like the long-term satisfaction, long-term gratification versus short-term. And you go along the journey and you build, and then you realize how satisfying that is, and you kind of like, you will go after your desires, but that's a carrot on the stick to kind of lead you in a certain direction. So you kind of figure out what your soul truly desires, because when you find out what your soul truly desires, you get to embody more of yourself and more of your diamond core essence that's like gets to be revealed to you, and that is just so satisfying on like a whole nother level. So know that that is like, set for you. Also passionate in-depth relationships. Eros is about like that deep soul connection that's so many lifetimes, and so many lifetimes. So the love is almost like unexplainable, even if you just met them, because it's like not just from this lifetime, and it's actually so much that you're, kind of deeply attuned with, And it's like, you feel it, you know it. And that's kind of what you're heading towards. And yeah, there will be soulmate connections that come into your life. The flame came out, maybe a twin flame or, high level soulmate connections that just ignite that spark, ignite that passion within you. So it takes you to, where you're supposed to be with the village. Because with Pluto in the eighth house, I think it's all about being very dedicated to your community and to your soul family, that you really have like just a natural synergy with, that you can build with, that, there's just alignment in general. But they also like, spark more of yourself and more of your being and more of this inspiration to, build out in the world. So passion ignited. Your passion is igniting in a whole new way. And this is a very exciting new adventure that will have a lot of victory and success. And these cards are purple too. So you're just massively like in tune with your higher self. With Neptune in the 10th house, you can just be naturally shiny and glorious out in the world. Like maybe your job is, something that's just you're really passionate about, like art or music or creativity, or maybe like community service and helping people, but it's something you're very passionate about and that you can receive a lot of reward and recognition for, as long as you're going after what your true meaning and purpose and what you're meant to do here, like which is what you're passionate about. You're going after your desires. That's like, purpose. That's how you find your purpose. Okay, you will receive reward and recognition from the right people. Three came out with that too. So that's like working with the right people. And six, victory and success. Six is also has to do with relationships. So yeah, your passion gets to get ignited in a whole new way in relationships. Like so much fire came out. So that's exciting. And you're meant to find your community. So make sure you know who you're walking away from. It is so you find that deeper like fulfillment internally. And so you can look, at not wallow in nostalgia in the past, like look at the cups on the horizon and the light coming in, because you might go through a massive spiritual awakening with, these two going back and forth, like, into water and fire, and that's just creating steam and more light coming in and spirit coming in. So you do get aligned, with your higher self. And yeah, you'll have to leave certain things in the past, but you're elevating, you're going to a higher timeline and to more fulfillment. And this is just the beginning. Like I think you'll get a tiny little cup of like, this is fulfilling. Oh, this is inspiring. And well, not a tiny cup, because like you're being pulled in a certain direction and it's igniting your fire. And, you're like, oh, like, that'll kind of lead you in the right direction, and help you move away from what you're moving on from. Because this is a big shift, this going into a angle house, like big shifts happen. So there might be big, letting go of an old era, but that's just so you can head towards the light and really have your passion fulfilled and step up into that highest version of yourself like you never have before. And you might be famous, you might be, just going on towards really, really big things. So just know that you're headed in that direction. All right. Thank you so much, Cancer. Hi, Leo. Okay, so let's see what's happening for you. I always like try to cut these a little, like not go so long, but I can't help it. I need to give all the information. So, okay. So Saturn entering your ninth house with Neptune. This is all about your belief systems. Like, what do you believe in? And with Neptune here, it's kind of like opening up to the world's belief systems. There's so many different ways we believe that life has to be lived, in this world. And you opening up to all of that can give you so much more compassion and love, for humanity, and being able to see the unity of us all versus being stuck in the duality system that keeps everyone stuck and everyone in competition. And this might lead to traveling. This might lead to pursuing some sort of knowledge system, some sort of education that expands your world. Knowledge is power because you give yourself all the knowledge so you can see your reality and decide how you want to create it and decide, how you want to live. It's just giving you more tools to kind of work with. And everything that we create, we start with the mind first. So you empowering yourself with knowledge, and different worldviews can be really powerful and not releasing any and with Saturn here it's like releasing any limitations when it comes to society or dogma or any old structures that will be kind of falling away. And you have a lot of natural wisdom that you can kind of bring to a lot of people after doing this deep dive into Pisces. And Leos have had it, kind of tough with it's not easy with Saturn going through the seventh and the eighth. And then Pluto in the sixth. Oh my God. Yeah, we're kind of exiting a heavier era. So we can kind of get into this lighter era, and we do have a lot of just knowledge and wisdom that we can give to people because we might be called to mentor with this, or we might, receive a mentor, but just know like any powerful mentor is supposed to help you become your more empowered self. You don't need to hang on to them forever. Like I forget what they say, like the guru tries to make you go away and then like the teacher like needs you to stay, something like that. I probably got that so wrong, but kind of like that. Oh, I also like this saying, like the guru teaches you by fucking with you, because that's, you know, what a guru does. And that's actually like kind of how Leos might have to learn because with Aries, you're ruling the ninth house. Like we need the challenge, we need the trigger, we need the, whatever. So we kind of go on the adventure and challenge authority and challenge what currently is. So we can have this empowering belief structure. And also, Leos are very powerful by usually being the first ones into weird belief structures every now and then. So we try it out first and we see if it works, and we'll see if it does work, and if we keep it, and if it doesn't work and we have to release it. And yeah, this Saturn rules your sixth house and your seventh house. So you might be going through an evolution when it comes to work and your daily life and your routines and what you do and your relationships, serious one-on-one relationships. This is romantic, business, friendships, family, any sort of serious relationship. You might be going through some sort of evolution with the way you're kind of expanding out into the world with your vision and who's really aligning with you in this fiery new direction. And, any belief system about I am and identity work and being powerful can really be very motivating, to, get out into the world in the biggest way possible. But yeah, again, like this kind of reminds me with like Saturn, being that rules the seventh house in the ninth house. It's like, yeah, maybe you do get some sort of triggering guru or just relationship that kind of teaches you the way by like triggering the fuck out of your shadow until you actually like, realize, certain things about the world that does open you up, because you do have to recognize your shadow. And we have done a lot of that with the eighth house, but we'll never get through all of the shadow. And being in touch with your shadow is always really, healthy. And it's kind of like where you can mine the gold and embody more of your full authentic self and love all parts of yourself. So you can be a healthy leader out in the world and not a leader that can't smell their own shit. So that'll be, powerful. So let me pull some cards. And with this powerful, with Uranus entering the 11th, it's like there's powerful new relationships and hope, new dreams and new ways of connecting with people that might expand you out into the world in such a random way. And you might, really connect with, different kinds of people that you've never really connected with before. You might have more eccentric friends, alien friends, like you could be channeling. but yeah, just weird, eccentric friends that kind of maybe want to be on the fringes of society, that are into the things that not everybody's into yet, but they're ahead of their time, they're future forward, they're tech oriented, something like that. They're just different. And yeah, that those are powerful relationships anyway. People that are different from you with Pluto in the seventh house. And you have to love the differences, like appreciate the weird and the completely different connections that come into your life. You want them to be different. You don't want them to be the same as you, because then you're not really going to learn anything. And these relationships and connections will show you more of the bigger picture and that dream that you're really meant to go towards. And it's so funny that I mentioned the mask. Yeah, because Leo can't bring the mask with us, because that's the small self. We want to connect to the unlimited self and all of ourselves. And we can't really get in touch with all of ourselves until we do get triggered. Um, so yeah, there will be more eighth house work, in this next year, but it's breaking us out of our small self. The mask is always comfortable with those beliefs and those judgments and the what is known, and just playing small, and feeling like you need certain things, to like certain ways of being, to play small, and that you have to know where you're going, and that, like, even when it comes to like what you need, like sometimes we feel like we need like like something outside of us, whether it is a relationship or like a substance or something like that. Like that's the ego that needs that. That's not our whole self. So we're going to get triggered the hell out of until we like don't need any of those small things that keeps us in the mask, so we can kind of be broken open into the expansiveness of where we're supposed to be, the bright shiny sun. But we need to go through a death and rebirth and have more of that awareness and direct connection with our higher self. And the ego has to get torn all the way down. And so, not all the way down, because it'll never go away, while we're here. You need the mask to even realize you're here, the ego to realize you're even here, but more of a direct connection to your higher self, and being able to receive those downloads. You're going to be able to receive a lot of downloads really, really easily from your higher self with Neptune here. It's like we have direct access to our higher self. And I just kind of realized that too, like all the ways that I would kind of get in my own way, like it's been so much more of an easier flow in general, and me not being so hard on myself since Neptune moved into the ninth house. So that's really nice. And yeah, harmony. We're meant to like maybe start the new kind of relationships in a way. I mean, we all are, with the Neptune um in Aries. Divine counterparts, strong connections that can, help you build in this new era, because that is the most powerful way to build in this new era. And Anima Mundi came out. I kind of want to read this one because that is everything. I think this is the last card. That is that it's like that one movie, Everything, Everywhere, All at Once, All the Time, whatever it's called. This is kind of what we're getting more, in touch with. So the Anima Mundi epitomizes the principle, accept all, reject none. Simply put, it is the living soul of the world in all its multifaceted, multidimensional layers, bonded together by loving cosmic forces. Diversity is celebrated, multiplicity is honored, and nothing is denied embrace. Constructs of separation dissipate into the wonderful mess of shared consciousness. Anima Mundi is linked between the literal and the imaginal, the rational and the mythic. It is the connective fiber that makes life meaningful. This card indicates an initiation on the level of the soul. You will awaken to the unique light within and witness how this light contributes to the radiance of the entire universe. You will sense yourself as a critical note in the cosmic orchestra. Destiny is altered as you hear the enchanted melody of all living things. So yeah, we're the soul of the world and all that is. So yeah, we're kind of getting in touch with unconditional love, when it comes with our beliefs about the world. So we can kind of be the sun and hold that unconditional love for everybody because you don't realize like how powerful unconditional love is. Like that is so healing on, when you go through a spiritual awakening journey. If someone shows you that and you're just so in the unknown, like you'll never forget that because it is so like powerful, to keep you grounded and seeing the world in a whole new way. So realize like how much like love can heal and how much you are like, being that love out in the world. So you can be connected to all the tools and the cosmic forces and the Dharma timeline, and all that is meant for you in this lifetime. And getting rid of separation because you don't want to be stuck in separation because you won't receive all of this like abundance that is meant for you and where you're actually going. And you might be bringing a lot of the mythic and grounding it into reality in a big way because this is the whole new era and we need to imagine it because we have never been here before and we don't want to keep on doing what we've been doing. So strong belief systems that are, full of love and unity and, connected to all things and connecting everyone is going to be such a great contribution to the world. So know that you're connected with that. So when light tending to the sacred details of life, when dark overwhelmed by the bigness of existence, go deeper. I've had a couple existential moments like, when you have some existential moments and you just stare at a wall, you're like, wait a second. And then you're like, no, 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 no. Great, grab one. Okay, anyway, I'm doing too much sometimes. Okay. Let me pull some of these and then that's it. Okay, so yeah, it is important to find that grounding to at the same time and go after what you love. And I think, yeah, definitely money and what you love is definitely tied to this new era. And it's all about finding that pearl within yourself. And when you get to go on this a ninth house adventure, you get to overcome obstacles and challenges and relationships and all to find more of yourself because that's what you're getting to, the core of yourself that nobody can ever really take away. That you're finding that pearl within you to serve to the world. And as long as you're aligned with like why you're here doing what you're doing and that means so much to you and you're connecting with it at that deeper soulful level, that's what you're going to give the world and that you will appreciate so much and you only have to know why you're doing it, and just really feel it in your heart and you'll feel that warmth, you'll feel that vibration, you'll feel that flutter. That is your higher heart and your thymus like radiating to show you the right direction from, source showing you that that is the right direction to go in. And that will help you embody more of yourself and discover more of yourself and self-love and fully be embodied in a whole new, crazy, magical way that you never even thought possible. All right. Thank you so much, Leo. Hi, Virgo. Okay, so this is happening in your eighth house. And I just went through this transit. So, I kind of know, even though it was in Pisces, so it was probably a little bit more tamed down. But the eighth house has to do with your connections. There will be in-depth relationships that come into your life that show you more of you, soul contracts, not some come for a little bit, some come for a long time. The ones that, you're meant to learn the most from come, and are in your life for a longer period of time. But that's just to show a deeper part of yourself. So you have more self-love and, love this deep part of yourself in the way that you merge with people. And this would kind of maybe, shift anyone out of your life that's really not meant to be there. Aries, like it does sever. So this would probably happen, pretty fast. But just know, like, whoever's, kind of meant to go is because deeper love wants to come in. A love that does want to merge with you, like mind, body, spirit on all levels. Like there's no surface love with this. Like I noticed with Saturn in the seventh, you could keep things a little distant. You could like get aligned materially in the 3D, but in the eighth house, it is all about soulfully, like soulful merging and seeing if you can be on the same page. And you'll be on the same page with, high level soulmate connections. So it's all about like really getting serious about that and knowing who you want to merge with, and you'll just feel it. You'll feel that passion. You'll feel that deep, yeah, that deep in depth passion. That's how you know like you're with like a soulmate relationship. And you could go through a Kundalini awakening with this, breaking down all the ways. Or yeah, maybe somebody comes into your life like a twin flame or a high level soulmate connection that does just awaken you and light this fire. But I think it's kind of a good thing with this house in, being ruled by a fire sign. It can happen fast and, maybe light up all the chakras. And that's how, twin flame connections really go. It really just ignites you and sends you up to a whole new level. So that's like very exciting. But yeah, there's a bunch of different maybe walls that you put up when it comes to relationships would probably be just falling away. So you can realize how much more depth and intimacy you can have in all of your relationships. And how much, when you do have more love for yourself in all aspects of yourself, you just can have so much love and appreciation for everybody else in your life. And yeah, this will also have to do with relationships like family, and you're going to be dealing with all kinds of relationships like any one-on-one relationship, family, friendships, romantic, business, like any one-on-one connection is definitely going to be going through this evolution. And, you're meant to be growing with, more spiritual connections. With Neptune that rules your seventh house and the eighth house, you need this in-depth, passionate soul connection that you will be being led to during this time. And yeah, you're going to be going into the unknown in these relationships. And sometimes they can be scary. Sometimes it is scary to open up, and it is scary to be vulnerable and everything. But with the right relationships that you're meant to, they will accept all parts of you. So, you can, and they will last. So you can go through this evolution of love and show them your shadow so you can see their shadow and have that kind of intimacy, because we all have shadows, and, the right person will love your shadows too. So you can go through that evolution of love, but not cling on to anybody too tightly. It is like soulful growth and evolution. So when they're meant to be there, they're meant to be there. If they're not, they'll kind of move on. This will make you really face any ways that you attach in relationships that's not healthy. You are meant to find your independence and be powerful, in a relationship. But it starts with yourself first, and like having that core within yourself so you can find the right relationships and magnetize them to you. But with Saturn here, you face all the insecurities when it comes to relationships. You face all the ways that you attach in relationships, like needing any sort of validation, needing any sort of communication, needing anything outside of yourself for to satisfy this deeper desire is just going to have to go. It's all about really getting into like the core of who you are at that deepest, darkest level, and loving the deepest, darkest part of your shadow. So you can go through this powerful evolution. Because what's great about this is, even though you have to go dark and deep into, that I'm not gonna lie, it's a little bit like hell. Like this is not an easy transit, but it will it will free you. You know, all the ways that you kind of limited yourself and kept yourself kind of tied down and kept yourself stuck in your own shit, literally, like this deep internal shit, like you can free yourself from. And, you know, the whole world opens up in a whole new way because this is releasing any ways that you created your life in shame, guilt, fear, the lower vibrational scale, like grief, apathy, whatever. You know, you might burn a lot, you know, have a lot of random anger about the past, but that's just so you can have a lot of, you know, love and compassion moving forward when it comes to relationships and yourself. And you know, really like it's freeing yourself. So you can easily kind of step into that highest version of yourself when this is over, and then definitely be turned into creator mode boss, you know, when Saturn enters the ninth house, because you will have, you know, such a strong belief structure and childlike wonder and excitement with how you can create structures out in the world that everyone really needs. And with Saturn ruling the sixth house and the fifth house, there can be some sort of evolution when it comes to creativity and self expression, removing all of the boundaries that maybe you put up that stopped you or limited you from creating and expressing yourself in the way that you really wanted to, in the way that your soul actually, you know, wants to express itself. Because, and it could be through art, it could be through music, it could be through whatever. You know, the eighth house talks about the, or, you know, that meme going around, like there's like art expresses what people aren't brave enough to talk about. That's kind of like this, because the eighth house, like you can really transmute a lot of your shadows by expressing yourself in whole different ways that, you know, hits that like I don't know, hits that passion, and you're like excited and you're so like, you know, passionate about what you put out, but it also kind of hits that fear button a little bit. Like, like, last year I was so terrified to post, like still, like, I think I was still in a year in with doing it, but I was keeping it very vanilla. And then, you know, you take it to the next level and you just have that little fear with breaking out of the box. But like there were moments where like I like threw my phone on the couch and I just didn't even want to look at my phone, and I ran into the room and like I got to ignore it for the rest of the day, whatever. Like I'm cringed out by myself and but I need to express it. And you're feeling that desire because you know you're breaking yourself out of the box and out of your own limitations, but you got to do it. And it is a little scary to do it until you do it. And then it's like, I can post a lot more on the internet now and not really like care and kind of break out of that fear in general. And yeah, I don't know. There's just so many ways we don't even realize that we're scared until you do it. And then you break out of the fear and like, okay, that wasn't so bad. So when it comes to self-expression and creativity and putting yourself out there, and this goes with relationships too, you know, because you can open up your love in a whole new way and remove a lot of the blocks that you didn't even know you were there with love by taking that risk and, you know, being vulnerable and expressing like what you're deeply, intensely feeling and your deep, you know, insecurities or, you know, your shadows or whatever. And that, you know, just opens you up in a whole new way when people accept you anyway and, you know, love you anyway, and will have that unconditional love for you anyway. And they will. So trust that the right relationships will, you know, and it's just scary to do it. But yeah, and with Saturn ruling your sixth house, you can go through an evolution when it comes to work, work, your daily life. Oh, well, oh yeah. And the fifth house is also kids. So maybe there's a whole new structure that you're coming up with when it comes to kids and going through an evolution that's more empowering with that. So, you know, certain people like structures will be falling away. I don't know about the school system, but there are, I don't know, a lot of people like homeschooling these days, and once you do it, like, yeah, it's hard, but also at the same time, maybe it is better, um, and easier than you thought. I don't know. That like one of my friends is going through it and it's like, actually going to the regular school was harder because like, the, um, cute little kid that is definitely an evolved soul that will not be told what to do, that is meant to break down the current structure. So like if you're running into that problem, maybe it is a good thing, so kids don't have to be programmed. But anyway, it's up to you. So I'm not judging with that or anything. I'm just saying, like, what I do know. But yeah, kids might go through some sort of structural evolution. Also, love can open up at a deeper level when it comes to your kids. You can learn a lot through your kids, recognizing them as, very evolved souls, because that's pretty much, they are now. They're basically little, okay, I'm not, okay. Um, yeah. So you can evolve through like the structure and more love for kids and go through major healing moments and yeah. Or anyway, okay, I'll finish my thought because otherwise I'm just weird. So like yeah, kids after like 1996 are basically like aliens, they just like not all of them know it, but they do have that higher intelligence that they, just naturally embody, and that's why they kind of whip through like life so much faster and, are really empowered in their own way. So yeah, recognizing maybe that, and then they can teach you a lot too. Um, so yeah, so that, be flexible with how that shows up. And then yeah, sixth house is work, daily life, routines. Maybe you decide to start your own business and get over fears with that. Maybe you decide to do what you love and do what you're passionate about, and yeah, decide to start, some sort of business, monetize your creativity. Make a structure that really serves you, make a routine that really serves you, and this natural flow, and not feeling like you have to be so precise and so organized and so planned out, and kind of finding a natural rhythm that works for yourself and more for the individual, because there's going to be more of an emphasis on the individual in general. So it's kind of like, how can everybody have their own individual flow? And you can maybe help with that powerful evolution that society is going through, either in the corporate world or just in your own personal life, with how that can be the most beneficial for everybody. Because, yeah, there's definitely a powerful evolution with work. Pluto trining Uranus, and where you invest your time and energy. You could get dream contracts. You could get dream work that you've always wanted to do, like really suddenly and randomly. Embrace the evolution when it comes to your work, because with Uranus in the 10th house, like you can go and manifest like your highest career goals in such random ways that you never even thought was possible. But it's about letting the old go and not being afraid to evolve into the new. I loved Uranus in my 10th house. It was really fun, really exciting, very random, but lots of random connections, lots of ways of kind of elevating, and lots of, yeah, just very interesting. Okay, so, or wait, I wanted to pull this first. The Pilgrim. So know that you're going towards the new, and you got to be excited for the adventure. Going on the adventure will bring a lot of clarity. Where you saw light and dark, maybe you'll see more just, duality, and, getting in touch with your dark, bringing it to the light, brings you a lot of clarity. Like this is a lightning bolt, lots of clarity coming in, lots of ways that you can balance out more of your masculine and your feminine energy and be the most powerful version of you out in the world. Wait a second. Because I wanted to pull out these first, and then my progress sign is Virgo right now. So, and my South Node is in Virgo. So, I need to stop being so planned and nitpicky also. But not nitpicky, I don't want to say it like that, but sometimes like needing things to be a certain way when you just need to let things flow. you got to let things flow with the North Node in Pisces. Um, but yeah, enjoy this like fiery new adventure. The Pilgrim has like 10 and 10 that came out. So it's like this whole new way of being, this whole new way of acting um, out in the world that can be very exciting. And know that you're kind of in tune with this soulful wisdom. The riddle came out. You will see signs and synchronicities and confirmation that you're kind of going in the right direction. But it's very important to kind of just be in the flow with the right relationships and the unknown and see where you're being taken to. There's definitely a new beginning coming. That will bring a lot of positive movement, choices, and decisions, and realize you're becoming a vessel for creativity, for birthing something, for bringing something into the world that hasn't ever been here before. Okay, so I love this. The vulture came out, so it's kind of like shifting through like, the unpleasant, but that's just so you can find, what's golden. And also I love like past life regression because okay, so how it was explained this way to me, sometimes we have such a problem like focusing on a past event that we don't like, that we're so focused on that one little thing. But it's kind of like film editing. Like if you take a reality TV show and like look at the whole like cut, and they just film and film and film for hours and hours and hours, and then they want to take the bridezilla that freaks out about her dress, and then the bridezilla that freaks out about the event at the wedding. And all of a sudden she's a bridezilla, even though the entire time she was perfectly calm and like normal and like the rest of the time. But now they have the narrative bridezilla. So it's all about like looking back at your story and seeing what negative you're focusing too much on. Instead, you can just look at the bigger picture and maybe look at where you can congratulate yourself a little bit more and give that more attention. And yeah, congratulate yourself for what you did well, because nobody makes it through life perfect. Like that's just not a reality that happens here. So giving yourself the self-love and, clearing out just what you're done with and reframing your story is going to be very, very powerful, because you're getting ready to step in to a whole new beginning. And this is a whole new beginning. And you could be really psychic at this time too, by the way. Like you getting in touch with the other side is like you kind of grounding, more of this new beginning here. And yeah, realize you're the vessel. So you could get pregnant with a transit like this, actually, because, eighth house does have to do with partnerships and merging and everything. So you could be birthing a child or birthing something creative. So you can really, realize more of yourself in, yeah, on this journey. And the cosmic egg came out. So this is like, a whole death and rebirth, but let me read the cosmic egg because yeah, it's kind of like aligning all your chakras. Oh yeah, and that's what happens in the eighth house too. You do go through a pretty big Kundalini awakening where like all your chakras turn on, and like it just gets them all spinning in the right direction and shining how they're supposed to be shining. So you're connected to your higher self in a whole new way and connected to oneness. So cosmic egg, completion, harmony, the infinite within the finite. The cosmic egg is just the final card in the journey of the animal spirit deck, and it represents the unfolding of the cosmic consciousness. This state emerges after we tread the path for quite some time, and through self-effort and grace. I like how I took a breath during that, like, okay, anyway. Okay, the path for quite some time. And through this self-effort and grace, we experience self-realization, a sense of contentment and oneness, and spontaneously arises within us, and the veils of our self-limiting beliefs are lifted. When the essence of the cosmic egg has not been activated, we might feel as if we will never get there, or that we travel alone, disconnected from others. Even if our encounter with this card is brief, appearing as a momentary glimmer of flash of interconnectedness, its potent energy stays with us. The cosmic egg is a remedy for the fragmentation of modern life. It's through the power of this card that we are reminded of the cosmic contract written at the beginning. We hold on to this life, and life holds on to us. The journey is complete, but it does not end. So yeah, it looks like you're getting in touch with a whole new cycle. And the more that you just get excited for the journey and, the journey of becoming this whole new version of yourself, it can be really exciting. And I was being dramatic. Not all of this is hell, actually. A lot of it is nice and really freeing because you don't realize like all the crap that you've been hanging on to. So once you get rid of it, you're just like, you feel so liberated and feel so, renewed and fresh. And then, yeah, the strong partnerships coming in are, amazing and everything, and you appreciate them. And yeah, okay. Anything else that Virgo needs to know? Yep, starts with self-love first, focus on you. Self-love is the priority, and knowing where you put your time and energy. Don't feel like you have to be perfect to be loved. Don't feel like you have to overgive to be loved. Find those relationships that give an equal give and take. And yeah, it'll be awesome. And enjoy the awakening. All right. Thank you so much, Virgo.